Oh.
We're eating the like stickiest things on the planet.
What were they called?
Something.
Prawn something.
Spoil. Roottreemania will spoil unlocked content. Make sure you tied up any loose strings before starting.
Christers.
Hello,
Hi.
Clark.
Clark. Probably not who you expected to be knocking, but life's funny sometimes. You've done well staying anonymous. It took us a while to track you down. A lot has happened in the last year. Far too much of it public. But there's stuff going on behind the scenes, too. I never wanted to be president. I'm not great with stress.
Jeez.
With my mother's deteriorating I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here because part of the fallout of Sam's book is that everyone's coming out of the woodwork. Now that it's public knowledge that Clancy Trust covers any root tree despite their history with us, a lot of potential cousins have surfaced. You may have seen that man on the cover of News Time. It was a disaster for us. And then Miracle went and made it all about himself. The long and short of it is a lot of potential cousins just showed up.
News.
Sam's helping some of them. But she's not really going about it the right way. And she's not taking calls from anyone in the family. I let it slip through a mutual friend that I found you, and I was stopping in. It's manipulative, but I'm hoping she'll reach out to you. You can let her know I'm on her side. In the meantime, if you're willing, I can share our files with you. Pass them along to Sam if she reaches out. I'm genuinely hoping she'll realize I'm an ally. Feel free to do your own research. I've been told you enjoy things like this. To each their own.
Okay. I'm bored. Whoa! Okay, we have another top secret. Possible infidelity, 1921. So, 5 pieces and... Yeah, 5 pieces.
Wait, so this is a new save file. Are any of the main pictures different than one?
Yes, this one. He's filled out. It's filled out. Chose the hideous photo. Like they're all
That's pretty much how we had it. Come on.
in this one. Oh, and this one.
Huh.
So next gen infidelity. Possible infidelity is first. One. 49. Jeez. I'm assuming that's Clark. Just saying. He seems like a shady dude. To have this mess. I did. And then the newest one. Family Tree Update. 1908. What? Okay. Evidence board. Evidence board. Oh, all are... Okay. That makes sense. Notable events. 6 pieces. The Roottreemania Rift. Clark Rafferty LaRue. 5 Pez.
Please.
Roottreemania Anonymon. Today is August 3rd, 1999, and it has been 8 months since you helped Sam Madsen with the research necessary for her book. Sam was true to her word and paid you an incredibly large sum of money. Why is it so bright? Turn off the sun.
Because of the bright window.
Sam was true to her word and paid you an incredible large sum of money. He never mentioned you by name, however.
SD chatter crashed.
So you've managed to keep a low profile. Roottrees, on the other hand, have not. Below is a summary of notable events since the book's release, though you can refresh your memory in full detail by searching online. 6 pieces. Sam Madsen's book about Elias Roottree was released in February. It was a bestseller for a few months. At the time, Carl had not yet been replaced. In the Roottree Rift. In March, the Roottree company stumbled publicly as they attempted to respond to the book's release, with multiple conflicting press releases and a clear lack of leadership. Clark Rafferty LaRue. Clark was announced as the permanent successor to Carl Roottree and welcomed Sad Madsen to the family officially. The company hired an outside legal group to handle the changes to the clan's trust. This included any other new questions of lineage. 5 Pez. After this announcement, there was a rash of different people claiming to be Roottree. Mostly dismissed as opportunists and scammers, the highest profile of these, by a wide margin, was a rapper named Felix Fellows who changed his moniker to 5 Pez as a publicity move at the same time. 5 Pez is the only notable person on the updated tree. Roottreemania. In another high-profile misstep, Miracle Roottree publicly and vehemently denied that 5 Pez was a Roottree. The Roottree's legal team then offered to do a DNA test to get 5 Pez to drop his claim. And in a moment that caught what seemed like the entire world by storm, the test proved that he was a Roottree. Suddenly, the world was obsessed with the Roottrees. Anonymom and Jane Doe Roottree. In July, an anonymous woman, who the press began to refer to as Anonymom, appeared in interviews with her face and voice disguised. She claimed that an affair with a Roottree led to the birth of her daughter, aka Jane Doe Roottree. If true, this would make her daughter yet another secret Roottree, and therefore entitled to a share of the clan's trust. Nobody knew it at the time, but this would turn out to be the last chapter in the Roottreemania saga. As more and more of Anonymom's story came out, people began to notice how much it echoed 5 Pez in nearly every significant way. The court of public opinion began to turn, confirming the world's suspicions. The DNA test orchestrated by lawyers on both sides proved that her daughter was not a Roottree. This final event caused public disappointment, smugness for doubters, and countless accusations for the entire ordeal being an elaborate hoax or attempt at fraud. Things got a bit ugly, and the fun of Roottreemania seemed to disappear overnight. Now, a month later, it feels like a distant memory. That was a lot of reading. Previously on The Roottrees Are Dead. This is a new investigation with a new focus. After many months of newfound interest in the Roottrees, it is recommended you try to catch up with some of what happened last time. Some web searches may yield new or different results, and some books and magazines from your previous investigation may be relevant to your new one. It's also a much more widespread search. The first list of first and last names you can choose from will contain red herrings. Not all of them will be used. Below is a reminder of some of the most notable beats of your initial dive into the Roottree family tree. All evidence from before is still available, and for your convenience, any searches that do not lead to new information still function as they did during the first event. The Roottree Candy Company was founded by Elias and Gwyneth many years ago. The entire family has a financial reliance on the health of that company. Most of the action took place in or around Butler County, Pennsylvania, where the company was initially located. Elias, Carl, and Raina were on the cover of magazines. Other notable Roottrees such as Lauren Roottree, Miracle Roottree, and Jim Roottree had physical media such as record albums, books, and movies associated with them. Lauren's 2 diaries were probably the most useful resources overall. mentioning many of her relatives directly. The 5 pieces, Elias's children, could be identified based on the initials of the original candy flavors. Ooh. There were 5 presidents of the Roottreemania Company. Many were featured in periodicals. Stephanie Jones and Brian Jones were featured in campaign posters that led to Caroline Morden's art book, which enabled you to fill out more of the tree. Many of the younger Roottrees were found by following a complex rabbit hole through a conspiracy site that led to finding a searchable web address for Chris Lafferty's and Lauren's grandson, Chris Graff 75. November Roottree was really difficult to place. Her occupation could only be found via Brian Jones' company's website. Ronald and his brother, Robert Roottree, go by Ron and Robbie, both worked on a TV show called Brother Trouble until Robbie embezzled money and fled to Paris. Ron unsuccessfully tried to have Robbie removed from the Clancy trust. Sam and her father were cryptically mentioned in a book about historic letters. There was also a few dead ends and red herrings. Alanius Herring Roottree, who claimed he was a Roottree, but was not. Family Man, a book about Elias Roottree, turned out to be propaganda and not useful.
We read that book.
We did not. Lauren's other books, historical romance novels, were not very useful on their own, though could lead to more information. Caroline Morden's sculptures were not useful. And then an unexpected...
You read it?
Yeah.
Hey, August 3rd, 1999, there was a knock at your door. Clark Rafferty LaRue, the current president of the Roottreemania Candy Company, explained that multiple people have come out of the woodwork to claim to be Roottrees. He has been trying to work with Sam, but she has not answered his calls. He also handed you a letter that he said you could share with Sam. It said the following. Both of you. The company I hired to help us with the Clancy Trust is busy pouring through the entire family's history, as well as people they may have had contact with. That said, the family is not particularly happy with this and are doing their best to slow things down. Many of them are actively avoiding our interviews. Every time there's a high-profile public case, it causes headaches. So please, I don't mind if you do your research, but I ask that you stop going to the press. Instead, we have a highly trained team of lawyers to back you up. We're ready and willing to verify anyone and everyone you believe could be realistically part of a relationship that led to the birth of a new root tree. Just tell us who to investigate by filling in the new sections of the tree, and we'll take the time to handle verifying that the timeline checks out. Keep in mind why we're here. If someone didn't have a child, or has already been disqualified by our lawyers, like in the case of the girl with the negative DNA test, there won't be a place for them on the tree. We're not just looking for affairs and infidelities, we're only looking for ones that led to potential new root. Some spots in the new section will be marked with a tree icon. Those areas are reserved for members of the original family tree you filled in 8 months ago. Just like last time, be sure to use birth names for everyone you add. Married names or nicknames won't be enough. To start sorting out the infidelities, I recommend you turn your eyes to the men in positions of power. I'd love to say that's only because it would have been a lot harder for the women to hide 9 months of pregnancy and birth without the family noticing, but I can't. To be blunt, I'm no stranger to infidelity. I wish I could claim I was a perfect husband, but you've seen the family tree, so why pretend? Some of us learned how to wield our family name and fortune to our benefit. Consequences be danged. I can't change the past or unhurt those who I betrayed. Instead, all I can do is be honest with myself and to you, refuse to make any more mistakes, and do my best to sort out the various messes we've left behind. So please, fill in the tree, and together we can figure out how to make amends, how to begin to make amends. Good luck, and thank you both. Clark.
So look into him. Or notable events.
Or 5 Ps.
Yeah, okay, 5 Ps, I guess.
Okay, so we did turn on a setting. Enable search all for periodicals. Say it makes certain puzzles significant.
Go back to the
Good for
board.
that.
I want to see if he's marked with a star like that. Yes, he is. Right there.
Oh, look, we found him.
Oh, no!
We don't know his name.
But it's not a combination of first and last anymore. I'm fine.
Felix Fellows.
Well, look up. I don't. Is that his real name?
He's nuts. Yeah, exactly.
First affair, final affair.
This will be just a person from here.
Yeah.
Infidelious.
Infidelity.
With this person who was also married but split up with.
Yeah. Look up
Why is this one attached to this person?
5 pets.
Oh, because they had an affair. Oh, I have your baby. Here's the baby. I'm breaking up. It doesn't look like me. Whatever.
Hey, look at my hat.
Who?
Felix Fellows or 5 pets.
Hold on. We have to connect to the internet first.
Handshake acknowledging.
Girl on the right looks like she's a nightmare. In the thing down here. We're in. We don't have any pictures here. Oh, these?
She was not happy with her mother. Well, her father in that picture. You can go show the picture to you.
No. That's the guy that just came to our door. Clark.
Clark.
Hitting escape again doesn't exit this menu. It drives me crazy. Okay. Connect to the internet.
Internet.
5 Ps. AKA Felix Fellows is a rapper who has found some recent radio play after being publicly confirmed as a long-lost Roottreemania and entitled to part of their fortune. His alias, 5 Ps, is a play on 5 pieces. An article you find on a website known for their particularly harsh reviews of modern music gives his most recent album, Root of All Evil, 1 star out of 7, for whatever reason. The headline, so it's worse than even 1 out of 5. The headline, more poser than my action figure collection. Review mentions his real name is David, and he used to go by Dirte Davy. And the author rues the fact that this rebranding was a blatant marketing stunt at the expense of his mother's tragic past. He overdosed when he was 16. Apparently, only one of the songs on the album is new, and the others were simply rewritten to turn blatant references to sex, drugs, and violence into clumsy euphemisms. His rise to prominence was kick-started when he appeared a few months ago on the cover of News Time, holding a photo of his mother with Guy Hudson. At first, the Roottree company denied it vehemently. Miracle Roottree even appeared on the same magazine a week later, but since then they've backtracked and publicly welcomed him to the family. The press release at the time stated they had new evidence.
So, his name isn't Felix, it's David. And his father is Guy Hudson.
Don't die.
I drank my water wrong.
David Fellows?
Fellows should know. That's Guy Hudson. Hudson
Oh,
Guy.
so for this one it has just combined names.
Yes.
Oh, because it's just everyone in the other tree.
Yeah. You need new pictures.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait. No, Guy Hudson was the 3rd president?
Remember where he is.
Over there.
He's
3rd
the
president.
3rd.
He was up to something, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Drink it wrong.
Okay. Okay, was there anything on here? We should... Dirty Davy?
And look him up.
According to fan sites, Felix Fellows is not 5 P's actual name. His birth name was David Fellows. Dirty Davy was 5 P's previous stage name. He used to sell records and perform live shows in Portland under that name. Some people selling his old mixtapes on auction sites. One is apparently called Dirty Devil and another Dirt Poor. We don't need to look. Dirty Devil was 5 P's first mixtape released as Dirty Davy from the early 90s. There's discrepancies and debates about what year exactly it was released based on some of the pop culture references, with the range thought to be somewhere between 92 and 94. One of the songs, Yes I Can Jump, seems to be at the center of the confusion. Some fan sites claim there are multiple versions with different track lists and song lengths on them, though because there's very little evidence of the mixtape online as it is, it's even harder to verify that. Dirt Poor was a mixtape by Dirty Davy released in 1996. There's a lot of online discourse from people who like to point out that in one of the songs, Felix Fellows included someone that would be revealed to be his own distant cousin, Raina, in a list of attractive women. The lyrics to one of the songs, Heat, mentions a few different prominent female actresses, models, and musicians from the 90s and provides a crude pun or line about what Fellows felt about them. Re-released in 1999, much of the rhetoric was toned down to be less overtly profane, and the line referencing Raina was clumsily replaced by Dana, reference to a character from The X-Files.
I would look at his most recent album and then go track down here.
Root of All Evil is Five P's debut album. According to various sources, the album is mostly material that 5P's recorded for his mixtapes before he became notable, but re-recorded with lyrical differences and professional production. All Your Problems was the first and only single released. After dropping the single, 5P's announced he'd retained the infamous celebrity lawyer Stevie Whitlock to sue his family. To date, it doesn't seem like he's followed through. First, the single didn't make much of a splash, but Whitlock, known for publicity stunts, paid thousands of teenagers a few dollars an hour to call and request the video on MTV, which increased its profile. TV eventually caught on and banned the video altogether, which in turn received national news coverage and made the song even more popular. Stevie Whitlock is a lawyer with a history of publicity stunts and grandstanding. Still, she's managed to rack up quite a few legal victories for C-list celebrities and athletes. She became famous in the mid-1980s after successfully suing a multinational sandwich company whose 12-inch subs were actually an average of 11.5 inches long. Stevie argued that since the company sold 1 billion sandwiches per year, that was enough missing sandwich to make a sub long enough to span from New York to Los Angeles. The jury awarded her a paltry $5,000. The news coverage of her crusade turned out to be priceless. Unfortunately, none of this seems related to the group. This track is the only new song on the album. The subject matter of the song is the hypocrisy of those that claim money is evil. It points out that the only people who think money is evil are those that have it, those that can afford not to be greedy. In the song, 5P's triumphantly talks about taking the root tree's wealth due to it being his birthright and giving it to those who need it most. Find a copy of the song on a suspicious-looking website and download it for your record.
Attention, Roottrees. This is 5P coming at you from
the only single from 5P's album, Root of All Evil. Received some airplay but didn't make a big splash critically or commercially, so it's kind of catchy. Need a drink?
Man, y'all are hypocrites, sitting back in your massive estates, built from the cash that your ancestors gave you, acting like you somehow deserve it, based on your family's creations. Yo, but look at here, sonny, don't you come for our money, or you might burn bright in hellfire someday, like that Madsen chick and her two dads. My pappy's cleansing trust should keep you away. Yo, it's disturbing, catching a sermon.
So long.
Yeah, no.
But blurts out these claims.
No pause.
Sinners, 'cause we didn't earn it. When all of your worth it came free with your name, you expect me to treat your lectures on greed as some
Playing in the background.
from heat without blame.
Yep.
Yeah. You can read that. I saw one line that was kind of suggestive and went, no.
On in here. Okay. Hopefully there's no clues in there.
Probably is.
Nope.
No.
0.
Oh, articles we still need to search. Search all.
Search all. Search for what?
5 pens.
5 P's.
Peas.
Result, Team Blast. All the same ones, yeah. 5 Ps is popular and attractive enough that even though his music is not targeted toward teen girls, they seem to be paying attention anyways. While he hasn't done any interviews with the magazine, they've listed him amongst the hunky hotties for the past few months with small bios that tell you various facts about him. This includes his real name, David, his birthday, February 9th, 1977, his star sign, Aquarius, and where he grew up, foster care in Portland. 125 stream streak. GG's, checks human. Ogchamo. A letter to the editor also claims that it's not possible that he was born in 1977, as he claimed on a song called 17 Magazine that he turned 17 in 1992. Okay. Because he would have been 15? I mathed correctly. The editor responds with a statement that they've reached out to his agent to ask about the song and were told it wasn't performed by 5 Ps and that they shouldn't print rumors.
Okay, look up his name before.
In here? Okay.
We can follow the track of his phone.
What we already read.
30 dates.
Photo of his mother with Guy Hudson.
News times.
Newstime is
Yes.
a major news periodical that releases a new issue every week. Rapper 5 Ps famously... I don't know why the music seems louder than it was last time. Look, we got the duck.
Get that up.
Makes a squeaky noise.
Sweet.
Use your inhaler. Says no. Rapper 5 Ps famously appeared on the cover claiming to be a Roottree. Then 1 week later, Miracle Roottree did the same, denying that he was. Because of this high-profile back-to-back discourse right before the start of Roottreemania, they appeared to be the de facto publication to get news about the ongoing Roottree saga. They reported record subscriber numbers during this time, which lasted until the end of Roottreemania, when the world generally stopped paying much attention, and they went back to reporting on more traditional news. Newstime appears to be available via your periodical search. Felix Fellows, aka 5 Ps, famously appeared on the cover of Newstime, kicking off Roottreemania. And a week later, Miracle Roottree appeared on the cover of the magazine. Yeah. Summary of both articles, as well as a close-up of the photo 5 Ps is holding on the cover of his issue, has been added to your evidence. Close-up. Roottree Family Picnic.
Okay, I want to read the blurb.
Oh, she was a cousin? Rapper 5 Ps appeared on the cover of Newstime holding this Polaroid of his mother, Joanna, and she was Zach Morden's secretary at a company picnic. So she was his secretary. Claims that Joanna and Guy Hudson, also in the photo, were having an affair that led to his birth. Joanna. They're looking at each other. Okay. Oh, and we have to do 4.
Read.
5 Ps, aka Felix Fellows, appeared on the cover of Newstime holding a photo of his mother and Guy Hudson. The article concerns his insistence that his father was Guy Hudson. story was dramatic and sensational and initially dismissed as fake until a DNA test proved that he was related to Guy Hudson. 5P says that his mother, Joanna, was Zach Morden's secretary when he retired, and then Guy Hudson's secretary for only 1 or 2 weeks after that before she quit, first few weeks that he was president. Parents divorced when he was 4 after his father learned of the affair. Oh, he was 4. Wow. Felix and his mother, so it wasn't exactly like I laid out in the beginning. Felix and his mother then moved to Portland because she was afraid for her and her son's life. Grew up with her until he was 16, but one day his mother never came home from the movie rental store where she worked the register.
Oh,
The next morning, they found her dead from an overdose in her car. She had stolen all the cash from her drawer and spent it on heroin. As Felix went through her belongings, the only things he had to remember her by were a hairbrush she always used, some photos, and a stuffed animal from her childhood. Then he found it, a box hidden in the back of her closet. Inside were love letters and photos related to Guy Hudson, as well as a letter from his father containing threats. He threw it all away, with the exception of the one photo he appears with on the cover of Newstime. He says it was the only one where they were dressed. The only one not from the affair itself. The picture is shown in full inside the magazine and was added to your evidence. The magazine also includes some additional history about 5P's career. Felix Fellows was born to Riley and Joanna Fellows. I guess we don't know her birth name yet. Riley Fellows. Has never rapped without a moniker. He tried to find success by opening for other artists and even by selling CDs on the street corners of Portland. He has only recently started going as 5P's to harness the power of his lineage. The writer did some research into the truth of these claims and was able to confirm that Joanna did work for the Roottreemania Company as a secretary sometime during the early to mid-70s. It also confirms she died of a drug overdose and that Felix went into foster care soon after. They were unable to track down his father. They also reached out to the Roottreemania Company, but at the moment, the company's blanket statement was, since the release of a recent book, Roottreemania has seen an overwhelming number of false ancestral claims. None have been factual. Nearly all have been knowingly dishonest. We encourage individuals to reach out to us in an official capacity as opposed to attempting to use our name in the media for publicity.
Okay, so she's not secretary, she was cash register? Yes, she was the cash
She
register.
was the cash register. She just pulled the money out of somewhere. Yeah, that was the last thing she was doing before she died. For her last occupation. Okay. Miracle Roottreemania.
Miracle is old. Not as old as the rest of the 5 pieces.
That's the other good.
Yeah.
5Ps. What were they holding up? This one while
Probably.
while taking this picture?
Or they edited it into his text.
Yeah. Charlatans and thieves. Miracle Roottreemania fires back. Miracle Roottreemania appeared on the cover of Newstime shortly after 5Ps did. He vehemently denied 5Ps was Roottreemania. This article was from before the DNA test that proved it. Miracle didn't focus much on the details of 5P's accusations regarding his mother and Guy Hudson. Instead, he comes across as exhausted at the events that have been going on behind the scenes, as well as the character of those he feels are attacking his family. He starts with 6 pieces content. He says that although most of the book was based in fact, it left out anything that wouldn't fit the agenda. He points out Sam's daughter still earns a generous salary for overseeing the farm division of Roottreemania, and that Sam did the same before her. That Sam's family was not destitute, and that really it was only her son who chose to take on a job with no salary. He claims that though they didn't have to, the family helped pay for her son's medical bills after voting that it was the right thing to do. Miracle also says the story about his father, Elias, shunning EC was one-sided, leaving out Edward Clancy's blame in the whole thing. Elias gave him a simple ultimatum: stop sinning or be disowned. Miracle says it was EC's own choice, and that Elias allowing him to earn food and shelter on the company's dime was a kindness, especially considering that he and John continued to live together. Miracle then pivots to the fallout from 6 pieces. He recounts a deluge of claims to the Clancy trust that the family have been subjected to. He doesn't cite any specifics. He says that every time someone comes forward, the family devolves to arguments. They've had to hire an outside legal team to help, but so far every case has been demonstrably, laughably false. All they do is tarnish his family's reputation. Focuses on five. There's only one thing in this. He focuses on 5Ps who appeared on news time before him. He calls him a grifter and a delinquent and says he is using their name and products to sell filth to the masses. Of all the accusations, he says this is the most dangerous because it exposes the world to hatred. He cites 5Ps' lyrics as violent, sexist, and ungodly and prays the boy will repent, retract his lies, and find religion. Lastly, he turns to the future. Miracle states that those who wish to hear the true story can join him on his farewell tour this upcoming fall. The Miracle's Roottree are planning on touring the country's churches one last time, and that now at age 71, Miracle is the oldest living Roottree. While he plans to continue preaching at his own church in Butler County after the tour, this is your last chance to hear the truth from the man with the most complete recollection of one of America's most notable families in your own hometown. The article mentions that Miracle's son, Miracle Jr., did not wish to comment, and has a statement from Clark Rafferty LaRue through the Roottree's law firm. Miracle does not speak for his entire family. We're working carefully on a plan to definitively disprove any claims of infidelity in our family's past. The article also does not refute Miracle's claim that he's the oldest living Roottree, despite Sam Madsen being born the year before him. It is unclear if Miracle made the claim out of ignorance or spite.
Probably spite.
Okay, what the heck do we need to look up from all this?
It was just... Oh. I would probably actually do Sam Madsen 6 pieces on the public library. Get that done with.
Okay. There's an older version of this page in the Time Travel Archive. Okay, we'll come back to that. Sam Madsen's published 1999 hardcover nonfiction. Sam Madsen's book was released earlier this year and details the truth about Elias Roottree as well as Sam's fathers, Edward Clancy Roottree and John Miller. You helped verify your story so much the book's core contents are familiar to you. It said Sam had some sections on other family secrets and rumors. Much of it didn't matter to the primary purpose of the book, and some of it is new to you and may be important to your new search. These sections have been added to your notes. The book has not yet been released. There's no additional. Six pieces. Sam's book has a few different passages about her own history with the company and the rumors and gossip she collected during that tenure. She ran the farm for a period starting around 1968 after the death of Elias Roottree until her daughter Gwyneth took over in 1984. Most of the relevant rumors coincide with the reign of Guy Hudson, who took over as president in 1978. Sam was very much not a fan of Guy, and according to Six Pieces, it was an open secret within the family that Guy was very much not a fan of remaining faithful to his wife Patricia. Many of their hires at the time were young single women, and Guy often spent a lavish amount of money on private parties. This was 20 years ago, and Sam warns that most of it is hearsay. Still, you will find relevant information. You'll find the following information that may be relevant. One of Sam's farm supervisors was named Elizabeth. Elizabeth had a daughter who Sam never met, but who worked as one of Guy's secretaries. According to Elizabeth, a caterer from a local restaurant called Antonellis met her daughter at one of Guy's parties, and they eloped quickly due to a pregnancy. Elizabeth wasn't aware that the party was for swingers. Rumor has it that her daughter showed up with Guy and didn't seem comfortable switching partners. Guy's main positive contribution to the company involved expanding to markets previously untapped by Roottree. However, when he went on trips overseas, they were often for weeks at a time, and Guy was known for spending more time and money on unofficial business than meeting with distributors and manufacturers. It was said that he bribed at least one politician to open a factory in Brazil. There's also a section where Sam speculates that Elias may have also cheated on Gwyneth.
Yeah.
Gwyneth was always much kinder to Sam than Elias was, and was the first to invite Sam to family events. While she had no hard evidence, Sam always got the impression that Gwyneth was able to coerce Elias into allowing Sam back into the family using some kind of leverage, instead of it being an actual course of events. She mentioned that Elias and Gwyneth were known to loudly argue, sometimes about another woman. Sam also says her son Ernie once asked her, "Who's Beth?" because he overheard them yelling about someone with that name. As far as Sam knows, Elias once had a secretary named Elizabeth, a different Elizabeth than the supervisor from the farm, but she never met her.
Yeah, that would be the farthest left one.
On that one. Because it's older.
Yeah, it's the only one that would make sense. And also, butt ton of children. I need to find another picture.
Where does, There we go.
Miracle? You have to figure that out. Figure out if he had an affair.
I mean, he must have.
He
Because
mu-
we got a
he would
picture of
be-
him.
He would be the 1949. Yeah, is the only one makes sense for old man.
Oh, because this was Elias in 1921. This was 30 years later.
Yeah.
But Miracle was 14 years after all of his siblings.
Yeah, which is about 5 years after that affair.
It could still
Like,
be
if you
some-
go look at the archived evidence and look at the original one, compare original 5 pieces add to the second one. This one was in 1924. This one is in 1928. So Miracle could absolutely have had a child by that, by that point in time.
Okay. You want to just stick him in here?
Yeah.
We.
A preacher.
Her last name.
No.
Ever finish this? I imagine being born the year.
Wait, was Sam's birth the thing that triggered his birth? Like, Sam was born, and then Elias was like, "Oh no!" And finally, made another child.
Or he goes here. Because he is an illegitimate child
Oh.
of Elias. That's my bet. Okay. Noted notables. Finish looking at 6.
Yes.
Well, unless we want to read this stuff about it. Pieces Unwrapping America's Sweetest Family by Sam Matson was released in early 1999. Perhaps assisted by the still relatively recent plane crash shot to the top of the charts. Oh, that was the thing we were reading in this. Yeah, I bet that Miracle is not Gwyneth. by Sam Madsen was released in early 1999. Perhaps this is by the slow relativity release. Plane Crash shot to the top of the charts. Reviews were mixed, and its time on the bestsellers list was limited to only 2 months. Most reviewers agreed that the core of the book, about Samantha's fathers and the struggles they faced, was compelling, and that the takedown of the hypocrisy of Elias Roottree was deserved. However, many took umbrage with the timing of the release and the tone of the book, which seemed vindictive. Fallout from the book led to the Roottreemania Company scrambling to release a statement, and due to a conflict of leadership, famously released multiple conflicting official statements over 3 days. This confusing move was referenced in popular culture due to a late-night sketch about indecisionitis. More traditional analysts have been calling it the Roottreemania Rift. A few months later, due to Roottreemania, the book re-entered the charts and sold even better than it. And like everything we look up, we're going to have to show older. Are we punching checks?
Huh?
Three press releases from the Roottreemania Company after the release of 6 pieces were referred to as the Roottreemania Rift due to the clear conflicts between them. The first was fairly standard. It stated there was no president of the Roottreemania Company, but that the entire family was made aware of the release of the book and that they would be meeting as soon as possible. Only then could they verify the legitimacy of the claims it raised and decide next steps. The second release was emailed to business newspapers 3 hours later and announced that after a vote, Ron Roottreemania would be taking over temporarily as interim president. It also went on to state that Ron was aware of the book, had verified the claims within, and would look into compensating Mrs. Madsen and her family immediately. It also stated that the company lawyers would be taking immediate steps with the family to revisit the Clans of Trust's terms to make sure nothing like this could happen again. It was quickly clear to business reporters and analysts that the time between the 2 press releases would not have been logistically sufficient to gather a majority of the family, even using conference calls. That's so loud. This was reported on many news channels, and a third, much shorter press release came the next day. It claimed that a draft of the announcement was made prematurely and that Clark, Rafferty LaRue, and Ron Roottreemania would be taking over as the company's first joint presidents. It also stated that any compensation plan would be based on a stringent verification process. Indecisionitis was a disease coined by a popular sketch show as part of a fake pharmaceutical advertisement for Get Together. While the segment isn't fully about the Roottreemania Company, it was released in the weeks after their bizarre response to the release of 6 pieces by Sam Madsen and references the recent news. In the sketch, a woman ordered a number 5 at a drive-through speaker. Then after pulling forward, she changed her mind at the window, asking to switch it to a number 3. This caused a lengthy backup and annoyance amongst the restaurant's employees and other patrons. After she pulled away, as the employees began helping other customers, the same woman then barged into the restaurant and passed the current line, loudly complaining that she didn't receive her number 5. After this, the sketch transitioned from the restaurant scene into a pharmaceutical commercial. The doctor claims the woman was suffering from indecisionitis, a disease that causes extreme confusion and irritability, and has recently been found to severely hinder the leaders of large corporations, but could also spread to humans. Take that, large corporation, inhuman people. What? Ugh. There's not an older version of that page.
You didn't finish reading it.
Did? What, this one?
Yeah, you only got to that paragraph.
Oh. The doctor then recommends, it's because it was like perfectly scrolled to here. Doctor then recommends Get Together, a fake pharmaceutical drug. Multiple testimonials use variations of the catchphrase. When I can't make my decisions, I gotta get my Get Together. I get it. Final testimonial included a bald man in silhouette with a voice changer saying, I'm not comfortable sharing who I am, but I am comfortable saying that before I took over my family's candy company, I really should have gotten my Jit together.
Oh, that's a...
Clark again. Clark Rafferty LaRue is the new president. Okay, so this is what we saw in the old one. Clark Rafferty LaRue is the new president of the Roottreemania Corporation. This does not include Root, which appears to have its own new leadership. In early March of 1999, about 5 months ago, it was announced that both Clark Rafferty LaRue and Ron Roottree will be taking over for what was essentially described as a transitional period in the aftermath of Six Pieces. After about 2 weeks later, the company released a press statement that thanked Ron for his work but announced that Clark was the new permanent president. Most of the information about Clark you knew already. Many descriptions of him tend to focus on his advertising career and that his mother was Lauren Roottree. You seem to touch on his complex and volatile marital history. Since taking over, Clark has tried to remain out of the spotlight, but did have one notable foray into the public eye. He gained a lot of support when his first move was a statement in favor of accepting Sam and her family into the trust. It also served as an announcement that the Clancy Trust would no longer be handled by anyone in the family, since, due to their financial motivation, none of them could ever. Stop.
I
Why are you
already
doing
hit
that?
it twice. Because when you're not the one clicking around, it's kind of...
Okay. Mania immediately followed the announcement that a rapper going by 5Ps was actually a Roottree. Collectively, popular culture seemed to focus on the Roottree family and 5Ps for a few weeks before everything felt oversaturated and society moved on. Because of the 5Ps saga, an underlying through line to how pop culture treated Roottreemania was an excuse for everyday people to claim they were also Roottrees. Daytime talk shows had I'm a Secret Roottree episodes. Midnight hosts and guests made jokes about other lost members of the family. There was a widely shared website where you could fill in your own name to find out if you were a secret Roottree. When you submitted your name, it simply said no, with an image of Clark Rafferty LaRue giving you the finger. Roottreemania lasted only a few weeks, just long enough for Six Pieces to enter the charts, to re-enter the charts, and to trigger new printings of other Roottree-related media. This included Lauren's Diaries, VHS releases of Gwen's old movies, as well as countless other unauthorized biographies, mostly seemed to attempt to capitalize on the Roottree sisters, Carl and Brenda. These re-releases were too late to successfully capitalize on or extend the craze. As a result, most of them were failures, and countless novelty shirts that had variations of I'm a Secret Roottree became immediately unfashionable, though some people still wear them ironically.
When I was looking on Disney and found that Shrek.
Anonymom was the second high-profile case after Felix Fellows of a potential new Roottree being added to the Clancy Trust. Instead of claiming herself a Roottree, however, she claimed she'd slept with Guy Hudson and that her daughter was a Roottree. The accusation came during the height of Roottreemania and began with a brief TV interview. She appeared in the shadows with a disguised voice and promoted an article about herself in News Time. In the TV interview and the article, she referred to her daughter as Jane Doe Roottree. The name Anonymom was not self-inflicted. It seemed to spring up organically because nobody knew how else to refer to her. No streaming tonight. The day after the News Time article, Sam Madsen publicly supported Anonymom due to some parts of the story she found particularly credible. With the momentum from Sam's endorsement, Anonymom went on a media blitz. Ultimately, this backfired. As more details came out, people became skeptical of her story due to the extreme similarity to 5P's. Her accusation even included many of the same details as his mother's story. This included her job, secretary, and the time period, late 70s. After fumbling the 5P story so publicly, the Roottrees were more prepared to handle all the Clancy Trust-related cases. Within a week, a DNA test proved that Anonymom's daughter could not be related to the Roottrees. This was announced at a joint press conference with lawyers representing both Anonymom and the Roottrees. The party ensured their respective clients provided accurate samples. Immediately after the negative results were released, many of those who had already been skeptical felt vindicated. Others who had built up hope that history could repeat itself after 5Ps felt duped. Many people suspected the whole affair had been a hoax to gain fame and money. Many demanded that Anonymom be held accountable, and some people even began to attempt to track down her true identity. The Roottree company felt pressure to put out a second statement to try to curb some of the backlash, even going so far as to say Though it was scientifically proven that Jane Doe Roottree is not a Roottree, this doesn't mean that her mother and Guy Hudson were not involved in an affair. She had every right to make her claim, as it has been verified that her stories about Guy Hudson were not exaggerations. Please leave their family alone. Many people claim this high-profile anticlimax and public backlash was the beginning of the end for Roottreemania, since much of the fun was the shared fascination about secret Roottrees. Others think that, like any fad, it just ran its course naturally. Regardless, this was the final notable event related to the release of 6 pieces, and soon things went back to normal. Jane Doe Roottree has already been eliminated as a potential new Roottree by the company's lawyers, who are the ones verifying your work. Mom's Affair does not appear on your updated tree. Ooh.
Yep.
Anonymous woman appeared on the cover of News Time.
You don't get to read it.
Determined through a DNA test that Anonymous' daughter was not a Roottree. This article, which did refer to her daughter as Jane Doe Roottree but did not coin the phrase Anonymom, came before all that, right around the time of her first TV interview. This is a summary. An anonymous woman appeared on the cover of blah 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 blah. About all the stuff we just read.
A little more detail, but yes. He was lavish party.
Oops, she slept with Guy Hudson at one of these after parties.
Yeah. On request.
Oh, here, wait. The article presented no tangible evidence of the anonymous woman's time at Roottree, and all of the payments were allegedly made in cash. However, using details that she provided to News Time, their reporters were able to reach out to the other woman hired at the same time, who also remained anonymous. They successfully fact-checked the timeline of both women and confirmed the existence of the infamous after-parties. 5 P's case was strengthened, and this new story was subsequent.
Gone through all that, so go back and re-look up Lauren Roottree's diaries on the public record.
They're called. Life between the lines. $1965, hardcover student edition, published 1993-1999, nonfiction. Revisiting Lauren's book, there's a single passage that focuses on potential affairs in her family. You've added it. Entry entitled Cruelty from Lauren Roottree's diary, written in 1960, focuses on the relationship between her mother and father. While it offered only redundant information, where are they? Can't see it. While it offered only redundant information during your previous investigation, it mentions the subject of affairs that may be more useful this time around. No stranger to true love, Jacob and I married at an age that most deem unfit for marriage. He was also enlisting at an age that most deem unfit for war. We had no choice. I knew in my heart that our marriage was one for the ages. He and I would be still together today if not for Okinawa. That was nearly 20 years ago, but there was an emptiness in my soul. Do not understand my contemporaries. So many girls I went to school with have taken multiple lovers. So many of my girlfriends' husbands have been unfaithful. I am able to remain true to the ghost of a man with no chance of physical reciprocation, no potential for long conversation. How could it be so hard to love someone you can reach out and touch, someone you can joke with? I've not had to deal with such madness at home. My parents are a perfect match in the worst way. My mother's cruelty is a perfect fit for my father's general spite. In turn, Pop's status enables her incessant need to gloat and feel superior. I have grown up with their cruelty and disdain for others my entire life. Even my family remains unspared. They make fun of my grandpop and his family sayings, blood is thicker than syrup, but nothing's thicker than Elias. I mimic Grandma Gwyneth's lisp and see her kindness as a weakness. Elias, please remember them. Sam. Not even our family's maladies and religion go unmocked. Remember, God only put one eye in miracle. I can say without a doubt in my mind that my parents have never had eyes for anyone outside their marriage. They're too self-centered. Right. What? Oh. Get there?
By looking up her diaries again? It said something about Gwen's movies. I would look up then.
VHS. Where that was.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Anderson?
No, Gwen.
Oh, this one. Thank you, Sean. Hey, I tuned into your stream and I was surprised that you own a webcam. So, GG's. Lynn Roottreemania was a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 1950s. Her biggest role was in the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. I think we read this last time. Died in Paris, France about 3 weeks ago. Got it in 2009. Died in Paris, France about 3 weeks ago. After leaving Hollywood, she made no effort to stay in the limelight, and most obituaries tend to focus on her largest role, Guys Like Us. Not much is known about her death, except that it was announced that she died peacefully in her sleep while being treated for a sudden severe case of pneumonia. Before that, she had apparently been in relatively good health, according to her friends and family in Paris. I thought that gave us something. Also, before we found Guys Like Us as a film, wasn't yet available on VHS. Guys Like Us is a 1953 comedy film in which two secretaries cut their hair short and pose as businessmen, get ahead in life until one of them falls in love with their client and hilarity ensues. Starring Gwen Roottreemania, Leslie Florence, and Harrison Blaine. This has got to be like a parody of an actual, right? It was fairly popular at the box office and made its budget back, but was seen as somewhat formulaic, so it didn't really stand the test of time compared to other classic films of the era. It was recently released for the first time on home video due to Roottreemania. The time it took to manufacture and ship VHS copies of Guys Like Us meant that it missed the height of the craze. It only lasted a few weeks. Even so, it did sell modestly well, and there have been talks of a remake. Guys Like Us remake has been discussed a few times on a website about upcoming films called Movie News. The logo is a cow on a film canister. The rumored cast is Cameron Diaz in the role originated by Gwen, Linda Fiorentino, and Chris O'Donnell. According to leaked news, the remake has been put on indefinite hiatus due to its director, who is speculated to be Ron Roottreemania, dropping out in the wake of a serious medical issue, though that's only a rumor. Movie news is your kind of dog. What's up, Wolfheart? Need to look up these people. Leslie Florence was the other actress besides Gwen Ritchie in Guys Like Us. Before Guys Like Us, she was in very few small supporting roles, and her performance in Guys Like Us was generally thought of as quite good, especially considering she got second billing to Gwen. Even with her success and acclaim, she retired from Hollywood almost immediately after her co-starring role. Not much was known about her until recently when Guys Like Us was re-released right at the tail end of Roottreemania. Recently, as part of the myriad of articles and research people have done into those surrounding the root trees, it came out that she died of a genetic disease known as Huntington. Yes, I mean, like many of these games, I'm playing it only while she's sitting next to me and telling me where to go, basically. But yeah, we are both enjoying it a lot. Of it. I mean, it's like, it's like a lot of the other Ubisoft, like Assassin's Creed games. Like there's a big map you explore. There's a bunch of optional crap to find and story, quest line or whatever. But then they added this layer of like satire on top of it that is pretty funny. I love optional crap. I like this. We're playing a whole optional second mode of this game after beating it. Someone seems bored.
My sister, you read it, and I'm like,
This is just gonna take us. Same thing. Yeah, anonymous. Oh, did you see how slow that text loaded? It's just like 1999. And his last name.
probably.
What? Hellos? Oh, get their faces again. Good. Been what? Like months or something? We haven't changed a single thing.
Pepper duck.
On a walk.
Cat.
Teddy bear.
Plushie.
The TV with the beanbag next to it instead of in front of it.
Where's your bed?
In this room, presumably.
Bathroom.
Maybe a hallway that goes to multiple rooms. Well, we don't have all of hers. If we did, I would say we could try. I think he might be here. Try moving him there to see if we get the 4 things. What are you saying?
Up on last week.
Elias and Gwyneth Rootree were never really celebrities, but the general public's perception of them as classic faces associated with the Rootree Candy Company has always been in somewhat high regards. This was Elias's intention as a family man with his family brand. 6 pieces, the Candy Company has placed much less of an emphasis on Elias as a historical brand-connected figure. But there have also been those who have argued that it was his right to decide how to split his inheritance and that he did nothing wrong. This has led to some heated television exchanges and countless op-eds. First, Anderson Maple Farm only used to be a popular tourist attraction during the summer months when it had special tours. However, it has seen an explosion of off-season business as some religious and political groups decide to visit, show support for Elias and Gwyneth's traditional values and financial rights. This rise in support was in turn followed by pickets from gay rights activists, and some particularly inflammatory organizations made their pilgrimages. Amongst all this conflict, the farm has since shut down, seemingly indefinitely. The website says check back later, but has no date listed. Quotes from Bess Williams' book appear to have been taken. Bess Williams. Bess Williams was an author born in the late 1800s. She lived just outside of Miami. Information about her book Family Man seems to have faded over time due to lack of interest. Died tragically in a major hurricane that struck the area in 1926. Bess has a minor history with the Roottrees. Her only notable book, Family Man, is widely considered blatant propaganda about Elias Roottree. It had been all but forgotten until recently when it was re-released during the height of Roottreemania. There's a site dedicated to hurricane statistics that also mentions Bess Williams. The Bocadoral Library, not far from where she lived, was partially destroyed in the hurricane. When they rebuilt, they renamed the nonfiction section after her. The library was expanded again in 1950 and then closed in 1963 when multiple larger libraries opened in the surrounding area that made it redundant.
Yeah, I think we need to go look at Family Man.
Family Man, The Roottree Legacy by Bess Williams is a very poorly received book about Elias Roottree. Oh, I think we did find this. It's impossible to find a copy of the book these days. I was like, oh, it's a bit. There are very few copies of the original published in 1920, but it was recently republished by the same publishing company that printed Lauren's Diary for schools. Seems they wished to capitalize on Roottreemania. It did not work.
Public library, though.
Reprinting of an old book about Elias Roottree is blatant corporate propaganda. Family Man, Roottree Legacy. Williams. Dictionary defines propaganda as information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. If they were to replicate that definition with a picture, it would be a picture of this book. The book tells you nothing new about Elias, and from what you know of his true feelings towards some of his extended family, you're not sure it tells you anything true about Elias either. The reissue of this book was so lazy that they reused the famous photo of Elias from Business Watch, whose copyright had expired. Best thing it has going for it is that it's only 85 pages long.
I'm thinking Bess Williams instead of Beth. It's
Bill's birthday, man. What?
Bess Williams. When she said Beth, she was trying to say Beth. You know, if she slurs and says very quickly become. I'm thinking because of like how blatantly like corporate propaganda it is. That's the.
So you think this is Bess Williams?
Yeah.
We did something. Oh, hey. Okay. I was wrong.
Hello, Riley. Booyah.
Oh, yeah.
Sam, please.
It's Sam.
Mark reached out to you. Well, let me give you a short history lesson about the last few months of my life. 3 different people contacted me, claiming that somewhere in their history, they might be Roottrees. First, that young man, the rapper. I ignored that one. He seemed dubious. But then I saw the news. I felt terrible. So I began helping the others. Because my doubts with Felix were so misfounded, I ended up putting too much faith in the second person that approached me. I went to the media prematurely. I admit my mistake there. But the third person who contacted me also had a credible case. Before I could help, the company got to them somehow. The fact that the family silenced them doesn't seem to fill me with hope when it comes to Clark's intentions. But you're making progress based on the leads he gave you. It's really hard for me to get a read on him. I'll let you handle it. I've sent you the case I've been working on, and some company records I managed to track down. The records are quite dense, but hopefully they're useful. Good luck.
Well, we have a lot more evidence to look through.
Photo was given to you by Sam Madsen. A woman named Regina Clementine came to her and claimed that her husband had confessed he thinks. Details of this case can be found in your evidence. Stuart is the older boy wearing a vest. The woman in the photo, Mary Beth Clementine, a singer who may have had an affair with Miracle Root.
So she's the second line on her.
Stuart married Regina. Mary Beth Clementine. Is that in? Yeah.
Musician. It would help if you spelled it right.
Not MSU.
And her spouse.
Stuart? Stuart something.
No, that's the older boy. What? And he took on Clementine, which was the last name she was using.
Oh, he's the older boy. Yeah. Uh-oh.
When I looked at it, and
Who's this guy?
I don't know, her husband.
Mary Beth Clementine. Okay. One of these may be from him, and the other one may be from where he is. Who also put up with something.
Yeah.
Man. Look up all these names.
You're Beth.
Mary Beth Clementine was a singer most popular in the years between 1942 and 1959. Traveled around the country performing at churches. Her repertoire was a mix of religious and popular songs, and although she recorded a few records, they seem lost to time. The only one you find mentioned was a cover of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, released under the label New Edison. One thing Mary Beth was known for was her adoptions. She's listed on many sites that mention adoption and the history of adoption. She adopted 2 children in the late 1940s, Stuart and Mark.
Yeah, adopted them from herself.
She also spoke as an advocate for the benefits of adoption in front of the United States Congress in 1949, who were convening to debate and discuss the then first adoption of an African American child to a white family in the United States. She was specifically there to detail her experience going through the system to adopt Stewart. Her other son was adopted later, and according to a single line on one adoption site, under unusual circumstances.
Okay, so Mark is the affair child.
Yeah. In 1959, it surfaced, so then Mark is the one married to Gina. In 1959, it surfaced that Mary Beth had been twice divorced, both times to her manager Sterling. This ended her career with the religious audience she had been catering to, and while she performed occasionally since then, she mostly faded into obscurity. Mary Beth passed away in 1994 at the age of 76.
Sterling something.
Well, Clementine, probably, right?
Well, I don't think so.
Or her last name is a different name. I mean, but if she was, yeah. Miracle Senior is going on a new tour of the United States in late 1999. The previous flyer for 3 generations of Miracles has been replaced. Be a part of the story. The oldest living Roottree reprises and retells his incredible true story. Miracle Roottree grew up as one of the famous 5 pieces, living a life of wealth and
luxury.
But fortune was nothing compared to the powerful force of the Almighty. Doctors determined he was destined to die young, but fate had different plans. He has lived a long and fruitful life. However, he's now in his 70s, and his age is beginning to make life on the road more difficult. So consider this your last chance to see him in a town near you before he settles back down in Pennsylvania. In this intimate evening, Miracle will reminisce about his famous history. He'll discuss his family's saints and sinners and provide a unique perspective on one of the most notable families in the United States today. Learn what originally drove him away from his fortune and into the arms of religion, and learn how his life has become more wealthy in spirit than it ever could have been from his inheritance. The site also lists the churches he will be appearing in and mentions that tickets can be purchased at their local services. Noticeably absent are any mentions about Miracle's news appearances. Okay, next thing. From 6 Pieces at Prodigy.us to Genealogy Genie at Prodigy.us. Is that the publisher of this game, Prodigy?
Her husband, Stuart Clementine.
This is all the information I have about Regina Clementine, nee Salazar. That means that was her maiden name.
Yeah, and she's married to Stuart, not Mark.
From New Orleans,
which is what I thought.
Louisiana, and her husband, Stuart Clementine. He wrote me about a month ago. Apparently the Roottree lawyers went after her since then. By the time I received her letter and called her, she told me she couldn't cooperate anymore. Her husband, who is a police officer and never knew his father, told her he thought he might be a Roottree, but he's estranged from his family and didn't want to pursue it because he had no proof. He wrote to me behind his back. Normally I wouldn't be so sure, but she had some pretty credible facts. Some of it I've been able to confirm. Stuart's mother was named Mary Beth Clementine. She was pretty well known in the 30s to 50s, a singer who went on tour to a lot of churches. You can look her up online, and she was a pretty big proponent of adoption. I know for a fact that she came to Butler County a few times. I remember her from when I was younger, and Regina said Stuart told her they always seemed to spend a lot of time at the Miracle Church. She sent me a photo to prove that she's who she says she is. I've attached it. That's the photo we already looked at. Attached it to this email. Sam adds the 6 pieces. Unwrapping Family, America's Sweetest Family is out now. Please consider saving a tree and not printing this. Remember when that was a thing? People would just print out emails so that they could read them. Daughter, that used to be a thing. Because they didn't want to read them on the their crappy
It's screen.
not 8-bit, but I don't know, monochrome, not LCD, CRT. Thank you, Chex. They would just print out. Luxury. Chex. Mary Beth Clementine came to Butler County a few times and played religious hymns at the Miracle Congregation's church. Mentioned 2 times, though the first visit from 1949 was significantly more substantially more significant. Miracle Congregation welcomes Mary Beth Clementine with open arms. The article mentions that the church's leader was moved when he heard Mary Beth's recording of one of his favorite hymns, His Eye is on the Sparrow, and reached out to her personally. His Eye is on the Sparrow holds a very special meaning to me. As you know, I've had a very difficult upbringing. It's no secret that my own eyes have always been a source of struggle. The song is about
We can't read today.
overcoming sadness, and we can't talk today either, and hardship through Jesus. If God can find a way to watch over every sparrow, he can certainly watch over those made in his image. My family's fortune does me no good as a man of the Lord. It's much better spent spreading his word. And I've felt a kinship with Mary Beth ever since I heard her voice. When I learned her personal story, I knew I had to help her in whatever way I could. The Bible is full of adoptions, from Moses to Esther. Spending your life taking care of those helpless to help themselves is incredibly noble. She and her son are welcome to stay in our guest home. The second visit was a few years later in 1953. The article mentions that her first visit was a massive success, and at the insistence of Miracle's congregation, she's returned for an encore performance. It also mentions that the unusual circumstances of her second son's adoption had prevented her from touring recently, but doesn't verify.
Okay, so the second son is absolutely the
Third child?
fair child.
A fair child. Modern Music Monthly had a very positive review of her cover, and the writer complimented her voice and the tone of her guitar. Complimented the tone of her guitar. That's how little he could find. Not of much use during investigation. There were also some other Mary Beth Clementine releases that that appeared over the years. One of them was The Old Rugged Cross, which is the only song that was ever advertised but not reviewed. Spelled it right. Luxury.
I would look up the old rugged.
Old Rugged Cross is a popular hymn that has been covered by many, many artists. You won't find much relevant. Okay. Still got 5 things to look at.
This
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What?
Right now.
Are you bored? Do you want to stop?
No.
You were given some partial staff records to cross-reference by Sam Madsen. These records are based on old tax. We are going to have to take a break in a little bit. Old tax mailing information and only detail the employees that work directly for Roottree or in their corporate office.
And during that break, did it.
What? With mom?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, to do that, we'd have to cut stream. Well, maybe not.
Not show screen mother. But like up there.
Why? Okay. Many laborers on their farms and their factories were not listed. You're not sure how helpful it will be, except for cross-referencing Guy's secretaries and visits overseas. Spider searching people just because they are listed in these books will likely be very time-consuming and a waste of your time.
So do it.
But don't do it.
So do it.
A waste of our time.
Elizabeth Cravens. That's the Elizabeth we.
Ravenswood. What is she?
She's one of the fair people of Guy.
You put her in the thing?
We don't know which affair.
Well, probably not this one.
Because he had a lot of affairs.
Oh. First one, second one, third one, fourth one,
Final one.
fifth one. Wow, okay. Jeez, Guy. I've never had a reason to, like, make a pin board with, like, string and pins, but it seems like fun. Okay, so I guess we'll ignore that for now. In 1977, it was announced that Zach would be retiring and Guy would be taking over at the start of 1978. Held a retirement party in November before spending the final month working on the transition. During 1976 and 1977, the following changes took place. Leadership. 1977. Guy Hudson has replaced Ernest Madsen Jr. as special management. 1977. Patrick Decker was hired. 76. Eli C. Roottree is no longer employed by Roottree. 77. Ernest Madsen Jr. is now listed under product management. 1976.
Her name is Robertson.
Dean Farrow was hired. 1976. Joanna Robertson is no longer listed among the secretaries, but a Joanna Fellows has been added to the list. Joanna Fellows and Beth Knox are no longer employed by Roottree. Tina Farrow is no longer listed among the secretaries, but a Christine Garland has been hired. From manufacturing. 76. John Miller is no longer employed by Roottree. 76. Gwyneth Madsen was hired.
I should have died.
Major expenses. Beth Knox, 50-year work anniversary bonus, $50,000. Zach Morden retirement party, $20,000. Joanna Robertson?
Beth Knox seems like a person that resulted from has 50 year and 70. That would make sense for the.
She got married and changed her last name to Fellows. Who is Beth Knox?
$50-year work anniversary bonus. So I think she's an affair child from Elias. Yes. I mean, she was probably married, so probably not her. But
Right. What the heck is going on here?
Child had a child and couldn't take care of child, so
They're
grandparents
married,
adopted
had
a
this
child.
Yeah. This child had a child, was adopted grandparent.
Happens.
No. Okay, next. 1978, Guy Hudson took over. This began a particularly volatile period in the company's staffing. Many travel expenses were listed, and Guy began trying to develop new 5-piece flavors. The following changes were recorded. 78, Guy Hudson replaces Zachariah Morden. Was Guy Hudson the one that they said, like, almost led to the ruin of the company?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the dude with 5.
Because this is what he was doing with the money.
Yeah, clearly.
Office staff, 79. Edward Ritchie, Elizabeth Cravensworth, and Lloyd Carpenter are no longer employed by Rootree. Raffertoons is now Raffertoons?
Yeah, the Rafferty.
Now listed as office staff. Product management. Albert Cross and Fred Cross are no longer employed by Rootree. Secretaries. Christine Garland is no longer working for Rootree. Beatrice Watts and Corinne Schwartz were hired. Juliet McCullen and Doris Mays are no longer employed by Rootree. Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing or Ewing?
Ewing.
Or Ewing. I don't know how to. Farm manufacturing. Thomas Green, Michael Crane, Elizabeth Farrow, and Jack Keating's no longer employed. Emily Seinfeld and Sam Cattrall were hired. Robert Logan is no longer employed. Robert Logan is no longer employed. William Sams was hired. Interpreter. Susan Ford was hired under a special category that only existed for 1 year. Expenses. Presidential office reimbursement, $52,000. 5 Pieces flavor development, caviar, $10,000 a month.
Oh.
Edward Rootree retirement party, $7,500. Christmas tree bash, $7,500. New Year's Eve ball, $7,500. Travel expenses, Australia, China, France, Brazil, $190,000. 5 Pieces flavor development, butterscotch. That sounds like a better flavor to go after. More caviar. 4th of July spectacular, $7,500. New Year's Eve ball, $7,500.
I'm sure no one wanted to kill Guy. Like everyone would be mad at him at this point.
The volatility continued. Many new employees didn't tend to stick around very long. The following changes were recorded. Plot. We tried strawberry and chigua and butterscotch and caviar again still.
So many parties.
Randorf Dove
These are set
donation.
up.
Grandorf School for the Deaf, formerly Grandorf Dove, is located about an hour from where the Rootree offices used to be in Butler County. It serves much of that part of Pennsylvania and nearby Ohio. According to their website, it was formerly named Grandorf Dove from 1923 to 1990 because Grandorf was the last name of the founder, and Dove is the Danish word for deaf. The founder had issues with government translators, leading to an odd transcription issue. In 1990, it was renamed to better represent the school's purpose and to correct the embarrassing lack of effort and awareness demonstrated by the government officials in those early days. Staff is listed on the website. You scan through all of the biographies and find that the principal, Ms. Ford, is fluent in 5 languages, including ASL, American Sign Language. She's been working at the school for over 15 years. Ms. Ford's bio also mentions she's not deaf herself, but rather learned sign language to communicate with the deaf. It mentions she was responsible for securing Hudson for the Hunding Wing. Funding for the Hudson Wing.
He can't speak today.
Too much complicated. Hudson Wing was an expansion to Grandorf Dove, not Grandorf School for the Deaf, first built in 1982. It's a separate, much smaller building, half a block from the main campus, and operates as a smaller independent school that offers free ASL courses for the family members, friends, and caretakers of deaf children. According to their history site, they got the name after the president of the Rootree Company generously donated $250,000 towards the construction of the building. There's also a very vague history section that you can somewhat fill in with details from the other information you've seen about the school. It mentions that the donation came at the insistence of an employee of Rootree at the time. It mentions that she learned ASL from the main school before the Hudson Wing even existed to surprise her future husband, who was deaf. After realizing how useful a service like this could be to non-deaf people that wish to better serve those with hearing issues, she convinced Rootree management to invest in the school. The Hudson Wing opened and she became the first teacher at the new campus. First, it only operated on weekdays, but since then, it has added afternoon classes on some weekends. Weekdays. Sorry. Weekends was the sentence. Matt Hudson died in May of 1982, so the first few months of that year continued along the same pattern as they had been. Things quickly changed when Ernie took over. Most of the extraneous expenses ended, and all of the secretaries, most handpicked by Guy Hudson, were let go. mean, so we could probably look at them, and they're probably like in order of when they were hired. Sam Madsen left Root Tree in 1984, so this is the last set of books you have access to. Following changes recorded. Ernest Madsen Jr. replaces Guy Hudson. Carl Roottree joins the special management. Susan Ford no longer employed. No change, no change. Ernest Madsen Jr. no longer works in this department. Douglas Rosenberg was rehired. Angela Ingram, Linda Lewis, and Catherine Garrett no longer employed. From here on out, no secretaries are directly employed by Roottree. Roottree instead uses a temp agency called Worktime Temp. Worktime Temp is a company with many offices all over the United States. The Roottree Candy Company is listed on their site as one of the companies they do business with, so it's far from the only one you recognize. As far as you can tell, there's no connection. Victor Logan was hired. Stuart Todd no longer employed. Amy Sutton hired. Sam Madsen. Okay, Sugar Plum canceled. Strawberry canceled. Chigua canceled. Butterscotch canceled. Caviar canceled. Ball. Fred Gleason 50-year work anniversary bonus. Boot clothing reimbursement. Carl Roottree $1 million. Okay. A lot of things. Oh, sorry. Antonellis. Large number of Antonellis restaurants, not because it's changed, just because it seems to be a common name for Italian restaurants. More local resource, dummy. This is an Italian restaurant and has been in the Butler County Times twice. Most recent time when it was closed in 1992. The owner, Rochelle Zimmer, sold the land the building was on. At the time of the article, she was unsure if the restaurant would move to a new location or if she would retire. Many years before that, there's a puff piece from a Valentine's Day 1978 that asked recently married residents of Butler County how they met. Christine Garland responded, she and her husband Steve, who was a chef at Antonellis, met years ago when she delivered produce from her mother's farm. Steve used to work extra hours just to be there during her deliveries. Although they grew apart when the restaurant switched suppliers, they reconnected by chance and eloped at the end of last year. Now she has a bun in the oven and they're both working as much as they can. She's a secretary but went back to delivering produce on the weekends, trying to save up money to move to Boston and open their own restaurant.
He's press checker with the and figure out where to put it. I had some.
Christine Farrow changed to Christine Garland. The second one.
The same.
Yeah, like she got married and changed her last name.
Elizabeth Farrow was one of the Pharaohs. Elizabeth Farrow. Oh, this is annoying. There's so many different people.
What was Elizabeth?
This was there's.
Where did we read about Elizabeth?
But one of the things Sam gave us.
Thing.
I don't. No, it's just 6 pieces.
There we go. Elizabeth had a daughter who Sam never met, but who worked as one of Guy's secretaries. So Elizabeth means mom. Don't have that. What?
Okay.
But I do think we can pretty much just fill out all of the affairs with the secretary names. Probably. Oh,
Helen?
she's married
Joanna's-
to Garland.
Last name is Robinson.
Yeah, I did that
Robertson.
already.
Okay, I didn't see it.
Garland. It's also kind of nice to be able to fill out just the last name. Beatrice Watts and Corinne Schwartz. And Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing.
Fairly far.
Yeah. And Linda Lewis and Angela Ingram. Yeah, okay, I guess it's not all of them. Most. 5 out of 8.
3 out of 5.
We had 5 infidelities. Out of like 8 secretaries.
Oh.
Have to be extra sleuthy this time around to deduce the truth.
Is that gonna be the miracle?
We got 7 reminders. There's probably new things we need to read about. Not this. Just changed over the last many months at the Roottreemania company. One of those things is its website. Well, during your last search, you only got a good look at the history page. The design itself has clearly become much more sleek and very corporate. Gone is any history focused on Elias Roottreemania. Instead, the site seems to focus on the present status of their candy offerings with high-quality JPEGs of each of their products. Also, some small ads for Root, which is the clothing company owned by the Roottreemania Candy Company. There's a small section at the bottom that lists the president as Clark Rafferty LaRue. Short bio mentions that he was responsible for some of their marketing before taking the reins after the unfortunate plane crash. There's also a small memorial section for those that perished in a plane crash, including the Roottree sisters, Carl and Brenda, Kurt Johnson, Mark Sanchez, Trish King, and Eliza Nicholson. Those are new names?
Yeah,
Are
but
they?
I don't think.
Butler
Unless they turn
County,
out to be
Pennsylvania.
bear babies.
Oh, Mom was live. The ladder. Lauren Roottreemania. In the wake of Six Pieces' release, Lauren Roottreemania, author of A Life Between Wars, was tracked down by a reporter as being in one of the most upscale memory care facilities in Pittsburgh. She was relocated back to Pennsylvania when she began suffering from Alzheimer's. There's a minor backlash towards the reporter that tracked Lauren down because they were caught standing on a ladder and holding their camera over the privacy wall to take a photo of Lauren and her son Clark sitting on a bench outside near a small pond on the premises.
Not good.
Jim and Diamond apparently sent out some mail to Diamond's dazzlers that mentioned that they didn't spend a lot of time near or around the candy company anymore, so they couldn't really comment on any recent news. The Best Of album did get released to CD during Roottreemania, and while neither of them have performed recently, the couple did do a few signings at local record stores near their estate. During question and answer sessions, Jim has stated he hasn't been inspired to write any new lyrics. As far as you can tell, Jim and Diamond's marriage is still doing just fine, and there have never been any rumors of infidelity about either of them. Stephanie Jones. Seems Brian Jones has been busy updating Stephanie Jones's campaign website. 2 new sections exist. The first is Baby Photo. There you see a picture of their new family together in the hospital. According to the site, our daughter was named after her grandmother, which ended up being very fitting considering she was born the night before Christmas. November? Second.
No, November doesn't have any children. She can't
Second
even get
is
married.
what's next? Well, we maybe got pictures, which means they are in the new part of the tree. There's not much of substance there right now, but it lists some small accomplishments and finishes with the recent rise in popularity and controversy surrounding my extended family, there has been some extra attention on me. Stay tuned for announcements in the coming months about how I plan to use this publicity to accomplish bigger and better things. Baby! Ryan Jones posted this photo of his family together in the hospital following the birth of their newborn girl. His new daughter is wearing an adorable little Santa hat, and his wife Stephanie is giving her signature thumbs up move from her camera.
I'm thinking, they're the one.
One?
They're two married.
They're both from the
Family tree update.
Oh, because they had a baby.
Happy.
Okay. One goes here, and which one goes here?
I would assume Stephanie.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Considering-
Abby. Does it say
Carol.
named
probably.
after the grandmother? I think she was born the night before. Carol? Not Eloise? She's like a Christmas carol. Baby! Jones. We got something wrong. That one's all filled out, and this one. Yeah, his name's probably Clement.
But the children are.
We already have him marked as Clementine for some reason. Remember why?
Did it say what Mark and Stuart did on
No? Like, it's his wife that went to the thing. Like, they're not students. Where you at?
You're looking at the reminders. Now only has
Caroline Morden. For the least of 6 pieces, Caroline Morden did a television interview. Someone has uploaded a partial transcript of that interview on the television section of a messaging community. The transcript is only her answers and is missing the question. Hi. This creates a somewhat confusing reading experience, but does give you a bit more history about Caroline and some of 45 minutes. That's funny. This is a cable news interview. A transcript of only Caroline's answers has been posted on the site about television. Never really fit into the I've never really fit into the family, so it didn't surprise me. She could have put me in if she wanted to talk about the time during my activism days, and I almost got arrested for stealing the spark plugs out of all of her tractors. But I don't really think it fit her narrative. Yes and no. They never tried to kick me out or send me to live on a farm, if that's what you mean. But I was already pretty unpopular, and once everyone learned why I divorced my husband, few people paid me any attention. My wife, not legally, but we've been together for half our lives. Call it what it is. I was 20 and had just had my daughter. I hate to look back on that time because I was a terrible mother the first few years. Left my daughter with my ex-husband and followed Guy on a private jet to Europe. He lost a tooth and a client. I found love and a better understanding of who I was. Still, in our family's eyes, his trip was somehow more acceptable. Explain that. No, I couldn't stand him. Our family wrote off his behavior like he was some huge fan of romance or women, but he didn't like the entire woman. It was doubly awkward for me because he was more supportive than most. I slowly figured out it was because he assumed I would be as shallow as he was. He was a workaholic. He seemed nice enough and did a good job. I didn't know him well. That was one of Sam's problems with our family. None of us did except Carl. Honestly, I get why she's pissed. I'd rather not speak ill of the dead, not unless you want more stories about Guy, because she'll happily speak ill of him. With Carl, though, all I can say is we used to be friends before they sent him to private school. He came back a lot judgier. It made sense when they made him president. He was a lot like my father after they disciplined the fun out of him. After I started protesting the farms, he stopped returning my calls. Oh, well, he's harder to label. When I was a teenager, he was basically drunk or high or both all the time. He actually used to sell me pot. His problems with women were different than Guy's, but he never really judged me. Who's she talking about this time? Mark? I guess he knew it would be pretty hypocritical to judge anyone for anything. Back then he was destructively unreliable in every way, but nowadays he's just kind of boring and old. I prefer that to how he used to be and to Guy and Carl, but it's still a cautionary tale. I hope I'm never that boring and old.
For that last paragraph. Nothing to get out of this?
A nice stopwatch. Yeah, nothing. Hypocritical. Eating root cheese. Chris Rafferty's prodigy site seemed to have been discovered by the masses. To honor the art pictures of his cousins, instead it's a list of questions that people kept emailing him. Most relevant ones are the following. Are you the son of Clark Rafferty? Yes, but I didn't grow up with him. I remember him from when I was a little kid, but I moved away with my mom when I was very young. I left Pennsylvania and moved back home to Virginia. I lived there with Pete, my stepdad. My dad and I spoke a few times when I found his phone number on a check he sent us in the mail when I was 15. He was happy to hear from me, and now he calls me once a month and came to visit me at college. He tells me about things I don't remember and people like Guy Hudson and Ernie Madsen. My dad and I get along, but obviously we aren't very close. Never meet the Roottrees. I used to know the Roottrees, but never the sisters. I was in the office sometimes when I was a kid. I definitely met Guy Hudson before he died, but I don't remember. My memory is weird. It's hard to know what I actually remember and what I only think I do because I have pictures. For example, I have a photo from where I was 5 and in the office with my dad, and Guy was there. I made myself sick by eating chocolate, and some woman who I don't know cleaned my face. I don't know if my memories of that come from the picture or not. The photo has been added to your evidence. How did you have proof of Ernie Madsen's heart condition? I knew Ernie had a heart problem because my dad told me on one of our phone calls. I asked him about the poison because I saw it on the Roottree Curse website. He emailed some old stuff including the proof, but even with the proof, the website didn't take it down. Spelled Beyonce wrong. I'm not good at spelling. I didn't even catch that.
In his last one.
What?
No, in his time travel older.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. I'm not good at spelling or writing. I'm good at painting and other art. I'm going to school to learn how to edit movies. I want to make cartoons someday. Lulu is much better at spelling. Guy?
Add Clark.
Photos on Chris Rafferty's website. According to Chris, it's a photo of him, his father, and Guy Hudson. Later distracted, he snuck into the supply of chocolate they kept for visitors and tourists. Rafferty did not know who the woman in the photo was.
Probably one of.
We go on this. Oh,
Chris?
Chris.
Chris is in the old one.
They just new pictures to add to the old ones?
Yeah.
Apparently, yes.
They're not in the thing.
Guess the new ones of Guy Hudson are going here.
This guy.
Looking at this. More. Okay. We're gonna take a break. Be back. Don't nobody go nowhere.
Sleep.
Good job, babe.
I want a death warp. That piranha plant falling animation was like disturbing. And then it sticks its tongue out. That's also disturbing. I was in a cave. I'm stupid. Fine. Great. It's this one.
Babe.
What?
You and me could never work in this. Because you are so correct.
I know what I'm doing in this dungeon, I swear.
Are you saying he's too strict?
No, he's distracting. He's so cute. Look at him.
Your Discord mic cut out, and on my end, it sounded like you said you were so strict.
What?
Frick.
He's so cute. And attractive. I love these little gray hairs right here.
What she's trying to say is...
And he's got this one right here, this little gray hair.
I'm Shrexy.
Yes. Yes.
I worked really hard on them.
Here we go, Magno Strats.
Now the rest of the room went super sick. Or the whole next room, I mean. I'm finally getting good at dash turning. Or not dash turning.
A little bit easier with Tempered Sword. That was the wrong thing. That's not how you're supposed to do that room, but it worked. Probably won't need this, he says. Wow. Oh, that was a boomerang. Accidentally. Sick. I made the boomerang fly through the wall by using the hook shot. Like, so it missed the chest and the wall. The couple early spheres, you need to have yellow. Wow, that was like the best thing I could have done there, actually. Sleep Pearl. The whatever was whatever, as whatever does. Darn. Thank you. That it took a lot of you what? That was cool. Hey Code Man, I found a bug.
Okay, so what is the D4 checkmark P2?
D4 is Dungeon 4, which is Thieves Town.
that
Dark
means-
World Dungeon 4. Big key check means I already have the big key. 2 small keys means there's 2 more small keys on under pots or in...
That's not back, but I am. So you get me as I round. Yeah, so this still has nothing. Let's look at Brother Trouble again. Going on a little side quest. Robbie Roottree was released from French prison after serving a few years for assault. His embezzlement and arrest was partially featured in 6 pieces, as Robbie's participation in the Klance Trust was a key piece of evidence in Sam's favor, and have since become much more publicly infamous. He has not yet returned to the United States, but when journalists reached out to him recently after the death of his mother, he had issued a blanket statement a few days ago. The death of my mother was hard on our family. My brother and I have, after spending time together caring for her and mourning, have finally made amends. It was a highly transformative few weeks when it came to our relationship. I'm in recovery for my addiction, and a major aspect of that process is that I wish to stay private. Yes. Going to the bathroom. Okay. We just have November Roottree is still untraceable. Still just this. Carl. Update Carl Roottreemania. Search after Clementine Stewart. Clementine Stewart. That is how you spell Stewart, right? Still won't work here. Police officer. Haha. He's Popo. I did it! I can hear myself from the bathroom. This is very funny. Okay, we got Stuart right, we got Joanna right, we got Stephanie right, and we got the baby right. And a bunch of pictures right. Oh yeah. So, still have... Who's an author? There's so many in this line. I'm gonna start laughing because I hear myself in the bathrooms. In the bathroom. I can barely clearly hear it, too. You got son. Party. No. How rude to not be able to search like that. Look, what evidence is very important. This one still has a lot. Who's Susan Ford? Oh. Susan Ford has to be one of the affairs. Who knows what affair it is? She said she was married. So this one? Susan Ford. There's not just a blanket teacher? My ramen is done. I'm not getting up until Father gets out of the bathroom. They're not a teacher. There's a professor. There's a principal. She is principal. We have a picture of her. I think we do. Yeah. Here, let me look up Susan Ford. What was she? Oh, what am I doing? Dumb. Randolph Dove was at the center of a crime article from 1982. It seems that someone defaced the school in vehicles outside the brand new Hudson wing of the school. There were multiple broken windows, and one of the teacher's cars was painted with profanities and accusations of infidelity. A few weeks later, a follow-up article provides more details. There was one arrest, Thomas Hughes, who was coincidentally a former student at the school. Apparently, the destruction came weeks after he married the school's newest teacher, Mrs. Hughes. She was not a teacher when he went. He graduated a few years earlier. According to the reporter's investigation into the police reports, trials, and restraining orders, Mr. Hughes was convinced that he was not the father of Mrs. Hughes' current pregnancy. He was released on bail, and the school has agreed not to press criminal charges after an agreement that was made to pay for damages and for the couple to begin the divorce proceedings. It seems Thomas Hudge, Mrs. Hudge, and the Hudson wing have all avoided further appearance in the Butler County Times. I think this is... What's his name? I literally was just looking at his name. Thomas Hudge. Thomas. Father, hurry up so I can go get my ramen. Wait, what time was this? 1982. What was the final year of his? 1982. She might be... Father, I want your opinion on this. I think... Ford Susan isn't the fourth one, but the final affair. What do you think? Are you still watching? Sure. Got it. Ford. Not Ford. Susan. Ford. He is principal. Not a preacher, a principal. And this is Thomas Hudge. And this is unknown enough. I'm going to continue my search with it's just Grandorf out again. Your children.
Okay. False. Ugh. Back. It's gotta be one of these, right? This is gonna be a pain. Where did we get?
Or Susan from the government, from the company records, and then Hudge Thomas from looking up the school and the period.
Hughes.
On the web. Hudges.
Hudge. Does that look like way different than normal?
As it doesn't have it.
It's not cooked all the way? lost it. That noodle is crunchy.
Well, okay. None of them weren't in. I just will have crunchy crunch. Yep. That part of the
Yep. Mrs. Spleebette, are you still here? Saying you wanted something like to join a Discord call or something. Is that something you want to actually do?
Yeah.
That was to the first question.
Oh, I need milk. That's okay, Mother.
Might have
Mother
fallen
also
asleep
missed
for a
stuff,
little.
and I missed stuff.
Hey. I drank a lot of this. Be well, thanks for 17 months. No message. I was waiting for it, but there isn't one. I guess I can video call her on Discord. Won't be awkward.
Totally. Mother! You're gonna have to.
Hi. Hi.
Oh.
Hello.
Wait, did you say hi twice?
No, baby. I hear. Why I'd have to? No, baby. Okay, hang on. Why?
Oh, it's because you're listening to the, so you can't listen to the stream at all.
Yeah. I just muted you.
That's a bummer. I also can't start the camera because OBS is. You have to look at me on the camera, but on the Discord.
Mother looks tired.
Oh, I know. I can
Thanks.
do top camera. Head. OBS. Not that one. I guess maybe this one. No, because that's going to be on the wrong thing. Oh, that is kind of what I want to do, though. Temp? Why is temp the one being outputted? That doesn't make sense.
Output is.
Start. There you go. I guess the only thing this is missing is the chat.
There still is chat. Just.
Oh, right. Okay. Doing something on her phone.
No, I'm writing a note.
Oh, cute. Oh, stream can hear you, by the way. I guess is the echo.
Is it still? I muted you, so are you still?
Yeah, no, it's good now.
Oh.
You should be able to see me now.
Yeah,
Click on.
Well, I mean, you're tiny.
Well, click
But
on
it's
the.
okay.
Click on it. I mean, yeah, I guess it's still tinier than.
Oh, I mean, it's good. It's perfect. It's
Oh,
fine.
I could do this.
The one.
That one. How was that? Did you have the game on the browser anyway?
You guys can just go. I'll fix it.
What?
I'll fix
Okay.
it.
Well, I changed the thing in Discord that you haven't commented on.
I am looking. It's not. I don't. Why?
Have you clicked on the like brown one with Dad's face plastered in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't click on that one.
Click
Okay.
Click on the one with the camera. Not that. We lost her.
Which is the ways of being however many miles away.
Okay, let's keep going. It is many miles away. $27, that's a new low. Wait, why is there a first roll? What the heck? I don't remember how that thing resets. I need to look at it. Yeah, that wasn't actually the first roll. Like, this is like the third stream today. See, and that says 25 is the low and 94 is the high. So I don't know what's happening.
Everything's breaking.
Ah,
I can hear you again.
you can hear me?
Yeah?
Oh, cool.
You
Sweet.
broke the camera.
Wait, can you not see me?
No.
Oh.
I don't know. Does it
Hillary?
look like you're sharing the camera?
I'm gonna put them in their kennels. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. It says failed to start camera. Hey, let me
Yeah.
hang up and try again.
Okay.
Just spilled milk all my.
Good job. I have one here.
I can hear
What?
you again.
Bots aren't allowed to marry 35-year-old video games. Yeah, and your camera's still broken. What did you do?
Clicked
I
on something.
didn't do anything.
Oh, you definitely did something. I can't take you anywhere. He's making a mess.
No, I just might have accidentally spun noodles.
Is she eating without a plate?
She's eating out of a bowl, which is acceptable.
But I'm eating ramen.
Okay, what do we have to search here still?
I don't know.
What's wrong?
Sam Madsen. Already read this.
Mm-hmm.
about the Clancy Trust. Roottreemania Company's unusual legal arrangement and the motivation for most of their major financial decisions. As a recap, the entire family earns inheritance directly from the profits of the candy company, as well as their sister clothing company, Root, with period. This means that nearly every Roottree can potentially have a say in the company's high-level operations. Historically, this has caused the family to be slow to approve any major expenditures that could significantly dig into the profits. After you take real places for TR, that's true. After the release of 6 Pieces by Sam Madsen, the Clancy Trust came under heavy scrutiny. Sam, her children, and her grandchildren should have all been covered under the trust, according to the wording revealed during an internal family conflict between Ron and Robbie Roottree. It seems that those who wrote the trust, Clancy Edward Roottree at the direction of Elias Roottree, purposely deceived the rest of the family about the exact details of how it worked, in an attempt to keep Sam and her father, Edward Clancy, his own twin brother, in comparative poverty. Because the rest of the family made money hand over fist, they had very little motivation to question their understanding. Sam's book revealed this to the public, and it did not go over well. Clark Rafferty LaRue took over the company, and his most celebrated move was his first official one. He ensured Sam's family would get their share. To help facilitate this, the inheritance aspect of the trust is now under the control of a third party, Ruby Legal Enterprises. This ensures the financial motivations of Roottree family members will not interfere with the investigations of potential new Roottrees. She's still making a mess. According to Clark's letter, however, some family members are still doing their best to slow the investigation by refusing to answer. Ruby Legal Enterprises is the name of the law firm that has been hired by the Roottree Candy Company. The company is named after its head lawyer, Ruby Spratt. You can't find much about the company from before this year, though all of the articles tell the same tale. After the fiasco of 6 Pieces and the revelation that the Roottrees... What?
I don't think she's actually outside. I think she's probably one of the final ones in the line that comes from.
Rootree's internal law group was complicit in such a cover-up, they hired outside counsel. The Ruby Legal Enterprises Group now seems to have ties to multiple aspects of the Roottree Corporation, including the Candy Company and Root. They're recently in the news due to a high-profile lawsuit they raised against Cicely Sanchez. She might still be in voice. But...
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah?
Okay, sorry. Is it working?
Camera's not working.
Oh.
Does it look like it's working on your end?
Well, I did the troubleshoot through Discord, and I came up on the preview, but then I didn't know how to close the window. Sorry. So you guys can just keep going. I'll keep trying.
Okay.
I finished.
Already finished. Cicely Sanchez. I read all that.
Cut you off.
Yeah, and then I finished.
When?
Before... I don't know.
I don't think you did. I think you read it in your head.
No, I read it out loud. Chat, back me up.
Who else is watching? Did Dad actually read?
High-profile lawsuit they raised against Cicely... Because I remembered I wasn't sure how to say this name out loud, and I ended on Cicely Sanchez. You think Ruby Spratt is probably not so third party, huh? Ruby Spratt, like her legal company, is relatively elusive. The most complete source of information you can find from before her time with the Roottrees is from the website for a magazine owned by a major airline. It was the subject of one article from a recurring series about modern-day success stories. Ruby grew up in foster care, but excelled at school and earned a scholarship. She's definitely on the tree.
Yeah.
Or else why would we need to know all this?
Yeah.
Except it did say that there's more, like, stuff that...
Or red herrings.
Yeah. Orb ends by calling her new firm a double threat. Her company's services are a cross between a traditional lawyer and a PR manager. Cicely is an author best known for Portrait of a Changed Man, released in 1979. Her follow-up Foreign Gospel, 1984, did not perform as well critically, still sold quite respectably. She has written a few more books since then, including a biography of Van Gogh, but her first 2 are her claim to fame. According to a site about authors, Sisley is known for her nonfiction with a focus on exploring darkness in the human psyche. Recently, Sisley appeared in a magazine called Picotee with an article about a book she had been commissioned to write for Guy Hudson. The magazine and Sisley herself were immediately issued a cease and desist due to its inclusion of pictures that she never had the rights to publish. The issue was pulled from store shelves, making it an instant collector's. Picotee is a category of flower with an outline around the edges of its petals. Picotee magazine is a publication that, as far as you can tell, has no consistent theme. It tends to contain tabloid-esque articles that appeal to a wider variety of audiences and appears in many grocery stores near the checkout line. Unlike traditional tabloids, it doesn't typically feature celebrities on the cover. Instead, it tends to latch onto and create sensationalist headlines about whatever subject appears to be popular at any given time. In recent years, this has included Beanie Babies, Magic Eye images, and even Red Bull. It has often come under fire for printing fiction along with facts. Picotee gets around this by stating in every issue that all of its articles are all the hearsay that's fit to print. At one point, Picotee ran an article about Sisley Sanchez, an author. She claims to have written an unread book about Guy Hudson. She wrote an unread book. The article was not even the main focus of the issue, yet the magazine was threatened legally by the Roottreemania Corporation. That particular issue, the Big Sass Sea Bass issue, was pulled from shelves. It has now become a collector's item, especially amongst conspiracy theorists attempting to figure out what the Roottreemania company was hiding. You find a recently finished online auction that listed a copy at over $1,000, but nobody bid. That was just somebody
Look it up on your article.
posting it. Big Sass Sea Bass is a talking fish that sits on a fake mount on your wall.
Yeah, look it up on period. You've lost mother.
Not on Picotee. In an issue that focused on a talking toy fish and the demonic messages it supposedly said as the batteries ran low, Picotee had an article about I remember hearing about that. A canceled book by Sisley Sanchez. The book's subject was Guy Hudson, and the issue was said to contain pictures that Sisley did not have the rights to publish. Because of the pictures, this issue was pulled from store shelves, making it the subject of some conspiracies and an instant collector's item. Do this recall the version found in these archives? They also pulled it from net. Okay. I have to look at these books. Verse 1979 out of print. The book's description had this to say: what if everything you could stand for, everything you know to be true today, could disappear in an instant? All of your politics, relationships gone in the blink of an eye. Would you still be you? Sisley Sanchez tells this powerful true story about a man who woke up after being saved from drowning in his backyard pool and became an entirely different person. Included are interviews from those that knew him best before, as well as a one-on-one chat that paints an entirely different picture.
The one. That was a blip of something we heard.
Yeah, it's Swamp, because her microphone's working. Not okay.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The microphone's worked every time you join and leave. Not the
I didn't even know I'm still connected. I'm trying to end it so that
I'm making a mess.
This bowl is just bad.
There's a hole.
That's also gonna make a mess. Like use your mouth.
I'm trying to wipe my mouth.
Foreign gospel. That's the out of print magazine thing. Tells the tale of a man from the Catholic Church who claims he's told by God he should travel to Thailand and begin to preach, specifically with the goal to convert 10,000 people. Big Sass Sea Bass. Basselbub. Could this popular gift be filling homes with satanic messages? Exclusive Sisley Sanchez reveals root tree secrets, plus the utensil that will help you lose 50 pounds. This was an issue of Piketty magazine that contained an article about Sisley Sanchez. The story concerned an unreleased book she had written about Guy Hudson. It seems that it used photos of Guy that Sisley did not own the rights to publish. Unfortunately, the magazine was issued to cease and desist by the root tree's lawyers. The magazine was pulled from shelves, and the version you found in your periodical search had the relevant pages removed, rendering this magazine useless unless you want to read about a potentially demonic fish toy, although it had linked to 8 other clues. Because Piketty magazine probably has something.
And Sisley is probably one.
Where do you think that down here somewhere is the lawyer? By Discord. Discord disconnected me. Okay, so who else can we look for? Tabloid-esque articles. Everybody. Everybody.
Everybody?
Hey, it's back.
We have a picture of Mother.
I can't see you guys, but it's okay.
Back. Well, it can't connect to my camera because OBS is using it.
No, it's
That's
fine.
Why I did.
Well, what I
think that might
happened-
have broken.
That's okay. But you can still see me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, there! Now I can see you.
That's what I was trying to do the first time. And if you can see the stream, like I didn't need to send you the whole stream because I could just. What were you saying?
Blah blah
Blah blah blah blah blah blah blah blah blah. No. Someone didn't get enough sleep last night.
Look at my dog. Waking up at 5:45 is Wait, wasn't there some of the there was one of talking about farm stuff?
On screen, Michael Crane, Elizabeth Farrow, and Jack Keatings. No longer employed by Roottreemania. Seinfeld changed to Emily Barnes. Gwyneth changed her last name to Cattrall.
More on curious.
What did we find about Susan Ford? Deaf?
Not dead.
Not dead. School for the Dead.
Yes. They're either vampires, zombies, or something in between. Can there be a zombie vampire? Or is that just a
They're
zombie
both fake, so yes.
vampire?
Yeah, but like logistically.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's true, B-Will. Good catch. That's undead.
They're still
not
dead.
Dead.
Okay, so ghosts. She teaches ghosts that just happen to be dead. They can't hear our mortal.
About Elizabeth. Her last name's Sobek. Was that Beth? No.
Oh, she's
Try this.
I did it right.
Elizabeth's daughter.
They already
Elizabeth.
built her into the things.
What?
Her daughter is Caroline. Or Christine. I read Caroline from all the way over here.
Well, this is Elizabeth. Oh, the daughter. Speculates that Elias may have also cheated on Gwyneth. Maybe Bess. Beth. I overheard them yelling. Elias and Gwyneth. And then we read the thing that said Gwyneth had a lisp. So who's Beth? Maybe it may have been who's Bess. They may have been yelling about Bess. And we got stuck on this one a lot sooner than on the other one. Asking the duck.
Hey, Duck. Kathy, Mary Beth.
Got it. Got the whole world in his hands.
Have we looked that
Have you
up?
heard that song?
Or her label more of?
No, this is... Edison was a small record label based in Los Angeles that existed for a few years in the 40s. It raced to release cover records of songs that were gaining in popularity. According to a website about the history of recorded sound, it was named after its founder, Sterling Edison. Biggest claim to fame is being sued by the estate of Thomas Edison in Edison Records versus Edsel. Yeah, I've heard it. I was wondering if she's heard it because she's... You also find a few references to New Edison and Mary Beth Clementine on sites about old records. One collector says the Holy Grail is a re-release of The Old Rugged Cross. That name came up before, didn't it? And says that the first edition was originally published before she legally changed her name. Oh, so that's how we can find out her last name. Another site claims the police had to be called to New Edison Records after its owner Sterling Edison. Oh, right. No. Got in a physical altercation in public leading to a divorce. There are no cited sources or evidence, and the site's content seems user submitted. There's an email address at the bottom.
You could be
And the
Sterling.
phrase, send me your stories about old Hollywood, and I'll add them to the page.
It could be. He could be Sterling Edison. About like marriage.
But like it talks about Mary Beth Clementine, published before she legally changed her name.
Huh. Like you don't normally say that if someone gets you.
Do we think this is Edison? This is still Clementine.
Yeah.
But this isn't Clementine?
Yeah, I mean,
Because she was born to something
married
else,
them.
and then she married, and then instead of Edison, she changed her name to Clementine for some reason. Or maybe it was after breaking up with Sterling. Rugged Cross is a popular hit. Beth Clementine released The Old Rugged Cross for New Edison, and it was advertised quite a few times. First reviewed by the magazine, however, it listed the artist, just call me Gwyneth, as Mary Beth Quaker.
Just call me Gwyneth.
Sorry, that was insensitive. Okay, well, we got her name. Cool.
Woohoo. Look into Clementine Mark.
That's how I figured out Mr. Man was
Billy Sims.
This is Billy Sims. Piketty magazine is kind of sleazy, so they're not afraid to publish a few details that more reputable news publications normally wouldn't. You look up the Billy Sims incident, and it seems they did report on it. I look up the Billy Sims incident, which I'd never heard of, but I just decided to look it up. I was looking at Mark Clementine. In a few new bits of information, though, it might not be useful. Billy Sims was once arrested for throwing a Molotov cocktail at a company that was found to be testing their products on animals. According to police paperwork, Crocodile Clementine's bail, was paid for by Tostarito Jacobson. It was fairly expensive. Piketty interviewed other students that were at the event to find out if anyone knew anything, and the word going around was that Mark Clementine showed up because his daughter Mary was graduating that night.
one of them is Mary and one of them might be Crocodile.
Crocodile?
We can do the Noost.
Noost did a small piece about a fight between Sims and Crocodile, but tried to approach it from a different perspective.
I'm reading ahead, it's fine.
Their goal was to paint a picture of the two men involved from others who knew them best. Not only did they manage to interview Sims' wife Carla, as well as multiple staff members at his school. So he was like a principal or
A
something.
child.
What?
No.
His Sim's wife, Carla.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
sorry.
Sims was married to Carla. Did you read that? As well as multiple staff members at his school. So he was like a superintendent or a principal or something. If he's on our board, we're going to need to know that. Highlighting it anyway. They hunted down Colleen Webb, Mark's ex-wife. Mark.
That dude. Dude, we're actually searching.
Colleen Webb. Running the section with Colleen, she and he met when he worked for an airline. She worked at an airport newsstand. He was a drinker and would often have mild mood swings. When he was charged with assault of a fellow pilot in 1975 and lost his job, they divorced. At the time, she was pregnant with their second daughter. She felt she needed to get out of before things got worse. She left him and moved to San Diego to live with her sister and told her oldest that her dad had to fly planes for the army. I guess he was a pilot. She raised them both by herself, and although she never went through the trouble of changing their names legally, they used the Webb name so that nobody would connect them to her.
Carrying crocodile?
They used the Webb name so nobody would connect them to her
So
ex-husband.
when we look them up,
But Webb was the name of the ex-husband.
they used the web name so that nobody would connect X web name.
Oh, her name is what? Okay,
I think we're both tired. Both stayed up late last night.
So the one thing we don't have here is female. Known female. Didn't we have a name?
Mary, the other one.
His daughter Mary was graduating that night.
So,
But is the oldest also a girl? And with their second daughter means they're both girls.
I'm wondering if Mark accidentally named.
Crocodile Clementine is listed on a website titled The Infamy List, a massive list of criminals who are known for odd crimes. Although Mark's nickname is Mark imply he hails from Florida, a lot of others on the list come from there, or Australia. Mark is listed as being from Los Angeles. He is a pretty big entry. He seems like a real piece of work. Very small note about him being the basket baby of 1950, but most everything else comes from his adulthood. He lost a job in 1975 as a pilot for a regional airline after he tried to board the wrong airline's plane. He was drunk. He was charged with trespassing and assault. In 1982, he was arrested for transporting smuggled animals over the Canadian-Mexican borders for an illegal reptile supplier in Los Angeles. He was apparently quite successful for the first 4 years, so his job is not piloting. He was caught when he had to make an emergency landing in Portland after he was bitten on the foot by a crocodile, hence the nickname. Apparently, the Portland Telegraph is credited as having given him his nickname. His mugshot from this incident has been added to a photo. In 1993, he was released on parole, but his freedom didn't last long. He was arrested in 1994 in San Diego for violating it in an attempt to visit his daughter's graduation. He infamously punched the principal, a man named Billy Sims. He's not in our tree.
Yeah.
This incident received national press.
Does not look
It's
good.
Mark Clementine, who was arrested for smuggling reptiles into the...
And the fact that his father is a miracle, I can't wait.
Believe this picture.
Look, he would be a criminal.
Is that a job? He was flying reptiles in, so he's still a pilot. These showed them a while ago. Bear Lake Raspberry Taffy. They actually have like raspberry seeds in them. Yeah. Ingredients: corn syrup, sugar, coconut oil, raspberries. Sea salt, egg whites, evaporated milk, natural flavor, vegetable juice for color, and malted decorative. It was like, wow, it actually has raspberries in it. You didn't notice there's any seeds? Oh. Definitely there. Are you just swallowing it whole?
Oh, I'm chewing on it a little bit.
Yes. Fuego's Fiesta, a regional Mexican fast food chain, held a competition in '93 that offered free meals for life to anyone that legally changed their name to Tostarito. The Tostarito was a burrito with a cylindrical tostada shell inside the flour tortilla. According to a few different sources, Tostarito Jacobson used to be named Lucinda.
Did Mark ever
They were pretending to be church employees in an attempt to get into the room where the church houses their weekly tithings. What did you ask? Where did I get onto Tostarito? Wait, when did it say Canadian-Mexican border?
when we were looking into crocodile Clementine? What's up, crocodile?
Oh, in the spider search. Transporting smuggled animals over the Canadian and Mexican border. So he's bringing them from both sides to Los Angeles. You look at Billy Sims, principal of Sandstone Canyon High School, who had his 15 minutes of fame in '94 when he was punched by Crocodile Clementine at a graduation ceremony. Pretty much every news organization, from Trustworthy to Tabloid, seemed to have their own take on the altercation. It wasn't the punch that captured the nation's attention, however. Instead, it was Billy Sims' matter-of-fact response to the threat and his comments afterwards, as heard in a now-famous audio clip from someone who was recording this ceremony. What are you doing?
Or?
Why are you even in that chair? That one's comfier.
Because I could sit backwards on this chair?
Billy saw Mark hop onto the graduation stage and said, "Sir, you'll want to sit down or we'll have a problem." At that point, Crocodile reportedly sucker punched him in the face. Billy, apparently only slightly dazed, said, "All right, sir, I guess we'll have a problem." Clementine tried to throw another punch, but Sims anticipated it and performed a maneuver that spectators described as a wrestling move mixed with a backwards somersault, which immediately brought both men to the floor, with Sims straddling Clementine, keeping him neutralized. As security arrived, the recording captured someone asking, "How did you do that?" And Sims' response was famously, "Trust me, I'm as surprised as anyone."
Dude pulled a martial arts move, and he's like, "I don't know what I did, man."
Funny.
Ooh, my head.
I don't know why this would have one on it. So.
That's Willie.
I think so. The Bocadora Library. See? Raspberry seed.
I don't know how you don't just swallow them in.
Because they get stuck in my teeth. Well, my teeth
Can you
are
look up
more
the-
sticky.
Bocadoro Library.
Bocadoro Library no longer exists. You find multiple libraries in the area. According to the website for the library system in Miami, the building where it once sat is now the Miami Print Museum. Searching for the Miami Print Museum, you come across their website. It states their hours and a list of exhibits. The building is very small, admission is free, and they only have room for a few different displays. One of the exhibits is their courtyard, which includes a fountain as well as a statue of an unknown author. A picture has been added to your evidence. Another is a printing press that was used by the Miami Sunday, a now defunct weekly newspaper. Ooh, a new periodical. The last is the original print of Cuba by Cubans, an art book. Miami Sunday has no records that you can find online or in your periodical search. It merged with another periodical and became the Miami Mercury Sunday. Folded after only a year. On a small website about quirky printing history facts that mentions Miami Mercury Sunday was the outcome of merging two smaller families. We don't know the authors.
But look it up, just not in the public. Is that Bess?
The statue in front of the Miami Print Museum, formerly the Bocadoro Library, North Miami. It sits in the courtyard, and according to their site, is said to be of an author. Cuba by Cubans is a book of paintings of Cuba released in 1963. It's credited to Marcia Barban. Okay, well, that was
At
easier.
first glance.
Doesn't seem related to your search in any way. I'm still gonna look it up. How to print no copies. On second glance, it still doesn't seem related to your search in any way. Named the non-fiction section.
Her in this one?
Oh, but it might not be her.
Well, apparently we only have two.
Oh, we have three. Mark, Mary Beth, and Beth.
Well, I'm saying this.
Right, got that from there. I'm up, right?
By just being an old creature.
That you used to initially place Raina, Rose, and Riley is still up, though instead of the cherry pink background with purple text, it's now a more traditional black text on a white background. The young webmaster has turned the site into a memorial for the sisters and their father. Like she did end up getting her ears pierced like Rose after all. Regardless, there's no relevant information, just a picture of the girls with a sad MIDI piano playing in the background. On other higher profile sites, you find that a charity has been set up in the girl's name, the Roottreemania Sisters Fashion. Root.website has a small memorial section to the deceased members of the family, but it contains no new information. The most recent catalog, spring of '99, had an entirely black cover with no text on it. Wow. On the leadership page, you learn that Root is currently managed by a designer who is apparently Brenda White's second in command. You don't recognize her name, and she seems unrelated to yourself. There's also a scholarship page. On it, imagine if we had to actually read things and then make that deduction. Sounds even worse. This terrible experience that we're having. There's also a I'm kidding, of course. There's also a scholarship page. On it, you find information about the Roottreemania Sisters Fashion Scholarship. It is awarded to 3 underprivileged high school girls each year who wish to pursue a career in fashion. Apparently, it also gives them an opportunity to show off their designs on professional models on a real runway. Sorry. According to the site, the fund was created directly from shares that would have contributed to the inheritance of the Roottreemania Sisters if they were still alive. Like other aspects of the Clanstead Trust, it's managed by Ruby Legal Enterprises. Right, and I know we looked at this. We haven't read this. Mark Rafferty LaRue, as well as Ruby Spratt and her company Ruby Legal Enterprises, were featured in Business Watch. Yeah, so we never looked up Ruby Legal Enterprises or Ruby Spratt in periodicals. So, Mark Rafferty LaRue, as well as Ruby Spratt and her company Ruby Legal Enterprises, were featured in Business Watch after the company took over as the keepers of the Clanstead Trust. There's an article about that process that interviews both Clark and Ruby. It seems that Ruby actually approached the Roottrees sometime in late March after the Roottree Rift, but well before Roottreemania. An accomplished but relatively low-profile lawyer, she offered to work for very little money, so long as she could be a public face to build her reputation. The family quickly jumped on this chance, as many family members often attempt to spend as little as possible to keep their shares of the Clanstead Trust as high as possible. After looking over the Clanstead Trust more carefully than anyone had in years, Ruby came to the conclusion that Clancy Edward Roottree's implementation was not legally sound, and that there would be constant legal challenges without some modifications. The family decided to put her in charge of the trust, both legally and as a public face, to prevent further issues. Ruby Legal Enterprises has been described as a mix between a law firm and a PR firm. First move, as sort of a trial run before she was even hired permanently, was to help them draft a public statement accepting Sam into the family and declaring that they'd begin to address the Clanstead Trust. It went quite well, and they officially hired her in early April. Ruby Legal is now in charge of many financial aspects of the company, including verifying any claims to the trust and organizing the various charitable causes such as scholarships that have been set up in the Piketty News Time briefly covered a lawsuit between Ruby Spratt and Piketty Magazine surrounding Sisley Sanchez. Said that Sisley didn't have the rights to redistribute the photos in the magazine of Guy Hudson. Piketty apparently announced that they would be pulling their issue the following day, the moment that Ruby Legal Enterprises threatened them. This caused the issue to sell faster than any other in the magazine's history, though only for one day. Even people that would never have normally purchased it went out of their way to buy one, just in case it would be worth something someday. It especially caught the eye of conspiracy theorists who assumed that anything worth suing over would have to be hiding something. Expert legal analyst from News Time states that it was unlikely that Ruby could have had the story pulled if it had gone to court, and Piketty likely got more eyes on it than it would have if the
Our job hurt.
Eastern University is a notable private college that advertises itself as midway between Maine and Miami. The mascot is the Spectres, though they are not known for their sports programs as much as their education. Their legal and language departments are their pride and joy, though they also have fairly extensive computer science and robotics programs. Along with other prestigious schools that haven't reached the notoriety of Ivy League schools, some refer to it as a Little Ivy. The college has embraced this, calling their newspaper the Herald. The combination of Hedera, the scientific name for ivy, and herald. Their website boasts that they have a historical technology museum on campus, including a still functioning computer from the 1960s that takes up a full room. They also have a printing press that they use to print one special year-end issue of the Herald.
Herald.
Herald is the school newspaper of Mid-Eastern University. It appears to be available in your periodical archive. Just give me a list of books that are available in the periodical archive, please. After a bit of research, you've discovered its name is a combination of Hedera. Yeah. What do we look in it for?
Ruby Spratt?
Yes. Herald. Ruby Spratt graduated top of her class from the Mid-Eastern's Legal College. Valedictorian speech was somewhat controversial at the time, as it was quite serious with a heavy focus on wealth inequality. It didn't go over well with a predominantly middle to upper class audience in it. The editor of the Herald at the time said, Ruby, unsatisfied by simply earning her place at Mid-Eastern with a full scholarship, went on to earn a captive audience of her peers with a perfect GPA. It felt like the ideal occasion for a celebration of an undoubtedly incredible individual. However, by the end of her speech, there were many in the audience that wished that neither of those events had transpired. It was a passionate attempt to use her soapbox to proselytize her fellow students and their parents into the religion of poverty, but unfortunately, judging by the silence, they remained unconverted.
Over here on... You think this is Ruby Spratt? She
Maybe.
was adopted by grandparents.
Nice heart.
Is it gonna come with Papa for father?
I don't know, maybe.
And if we're following up here, he would be roughly next gen like all of them. Or not next gen, the free spirits.
Maybe.
So I think that one's Ruby Spratt. But who knows if her name is actually Spratt. Since, you know, two spouses.
Yeah. Hey, that's my name.
I gotta go give it to my dad. He's packing.
Huh.
These children need to stop being so hard to find.
That red hair.
They're still screaming. I'm going back.
I wish they would just give us all of their company. That would make our job so much.
Was Rosenberg. He looked at it. Didn't know. Because the online one was like, this is like a good Italian last name. You find a million hits. Shel Zimmer. We haven't looked them up. Ding. Christine Garland.
The one of the affair children of, not one of the affair children. One of the people that got into an affair with Guy. Fill out her husband's name on the board now.
What's this?
Steve. Mr. Steve.
Ben. Secretary, but went back to delivering produce on it. Could be. I mean, I'm sure that she's one of these.
Why was Guy getting away? That might be.
Tried searching her up. Zimmers. Oh. Thought I tried searching her periodicals. It's annoying how it switches this and doesn't just stay on all. Rochelle and her husband Mark Zimmer have a few mentions in the Butler County Times. Both were local business owners. Rochelle owned Antonellis, an Italian restaurant, and Mark owned a local bookstore called Bookmarks. That's a good name. Both closed in '92. Mark was also mentioned once in the Butler County Times when he was sued by Steve Garland. Who did that? Steve Garland is mentioned in a couple of articles. First was an article about how he met his wife Christine when he worked at Antonellis. Second is from months later in September of 1978, a listing for his weekend cooking classes, Gourmet for the Groovy. The blurb mentions that he's been giving lessons from his home kitchen for the last month so that he can keep an eye on his son. The third was from 1991 and is titled Local Author Sued by Former Butler County Resident. It seems that a local author by the name of Mark Zimmer was sued by Garland after Garland saw Zimmer promoting his book Kitchen Tales on television. His recipe book was partially plagiarized from the recipes that Steve Garland would give his students during his cooking lessons before he moved. Well, this is Antonellis owner husband, Mark Zimmer. The article mentions that although recipes are hard to copyright, Garland accompanied each recipe with a short fiction about how he learned it. These usually doubled as a way to remember certain ingredients. Garland's bean salad, for example, involved making a trade with a gnome for some magic beans. Apparently, these stories were found word for word in Zimmer's cookbook, in addition to additional stories that followed the same. Okay, so what? Kitchen Tales? By Mark Zimmer. No copies available. Released as Garnishing the Truth. Recipe book that contains stories.
It's probably released as Garnishing the Truth by Steve. Yes, Steve.
Oh.
Well, if he got sued, and then I would think Steve would publish it. See?
The introduction of this book is a series of acknowledgments from Steve. The first is, Christine, thank you for everything. Your support means the world to me. You are the apple of my pie. Second is to James and Robert. You become amazing men and incredible chefs. I guess I'm a good teacher. The final is to Mark Zimmer. You proved my storytelling approach to recipes could be popular. Without you, this book couldn't exist. There's also a foreword by Mark Zimmer. I first met Steve in 1978 when he taught a cooking class. Next time I saw him was over a decade later when he was suing me for stealing his recipes. Yes, really. You might wonder what I'm doing in this introduction. Well, it turns out that Steve and I had more in common than we thought. Instead of settling in court, we settled it at McCarran's brew house over a game of darts. They said they'd give us the first drink of the night free for an entire year for mentioning them. By the end of the game, he and I agreed we'd both rather make a ton of money together than spend a ton of money on lawyers. Pretty rare to meet your best friend so late in life, but when I decided to retire, I moved to Boston just so we could hang out. So if you're browsing this book in a bookstore, please buy our book. We need more money for when the free beer runs out, and the bookstore could probably use it.
So, children, James and Robert.
Where is he? Okay. Robert. Maybe.
I would look.
Didn't it say amazing men and incredible chefs?
Chefs?
We don't have a picture.
Well, look
Why
them
we even
up.
do this? Fine. James. That's what the duck told me to do. Held me to do.
Held.
Held me. Well, we were just reading.
Yeah, but we didn't look up the bar.
Karen's Brew House. The pub in Boston, and they have a website. Apparently the bar's been around a long time. On the site, there's a list of famous people who have had a drink there, including former President of the United States, not of the Root Tree Company, Kennedy. There's also a few listings of television shows and books that have mentioned McCarran's as well as how they came up. One of them is Garnishing the Truth, which the site has this to say about. Local and regular Stevie G wrote a book about food. We prefer cocktails, so he gave us a shout out, and we ain't gonna say no to free press. Go grab a bite at his kids' joint, Fry Die, and then swing by to meet them in food. Fry Die is a fairly popular restaurant in Boston. They don't have a website, but many locals seem to mention them in various places. One more in-depth review explains that it's not a full restaurant, just a front door and a very small interior with a window. And usually the restaurant only serves vegetables, but a lot of reviews say that in spite of that, it's delicious. You'll also find a short story about it listed on a website called My Boston Homepage. Whoever runs the page seems to just link to random sites related to Boston, tell personal anecdotes related to Boston, and give their relatively short opinions on things in Boston. It's very unorganized. It has this to say about Friday. Fry Die. Wicked overrated. I saw it in Chef's Signature, so I went there. So I went, and there was a huge line, and they didn't have a single meat dish. What's even the point?
Probably another periodical.
Chef's Signature is a magazine related to food and trendy restaurants. They cover subjects all over the United States. Well, if you're not gonna sit here with me, I'm gonna stop playing this.
Well, I can put my...
I don't want to do that, though.
What's she doing?
Wants to go to bed.
Well, I need to go to the bathroom.
Well, go to bed then. It's late. You guys have to get up early tomorrow.
Oh. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I guess that's where I was going, is that you should just call it instead of doing what you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot to start recording, so now I have to export this from Twitch, and that's big. Okay. What are we calling it? We're calling it a night. We're calling it a stream. Calling it a day. Calling it a successful venture. Those are all good things. Alright, where can we send you guys? Find you a babysitter, as Meowski likes to say. Oh, the man himself. Man, I hate typing that. Okay, he's doing Link to the Past, RMG Master Sword. And it looks like something screwed up and now he's just messing around. Hopefully that doesn't mean the stream's almost over. He has been live for 8 hours and 40 minutes. Wow. Wow. We haven't had many wows lately. Another one. Wow. Okay. So the last 2 times I've rated him, he cut stream immediately, so that's probably what's gonna happen. So go watch him end his stream. Thanks for watching. Bye.